A very pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome inside the Walter Pyramid in beautiful Long Beach, California. Tonight, the Long Beach State 49ers make their second home appearance of the season as they host the Kansas State Wildcats. I am Rob Brenner, joined tonight by former 10-year college coach and player at Evansville, Richie Schuler. It's a pleasure to have you with us for 49er basketball right here on K-Beach Radio. The 49ers come into tonight's affair 1-2 after falling 97-74 Tuesday night at Xavier. Meanwhile, Kansas State is 2-0 with a home win over Southern Utah and another one against UMKC. Before we get to Kansas State and the challenges that they'll present this 49er team, Richie, 49ers have had some good things happen the first 3 games of the year. They do have just that one win, but this is going to be a whole different challenge on this home floor against a Big 12 team with the size that Kansas State presents.
You said it right there, Rob. Size. They have so much of it, and they have a lot of depth with their length. Their backups are even bigger than most of Long Beach's players, so it's going to be a challenge the entire game for Long Beach State.
As far as Long Beach State goes, they've incorporated 4 freshmen into their lineup. They are getting regular playing time. You do have the group of seniors, specifically the 2 guards who play key roles in Mike Caffey and Tyler Lamb. That said, those first 3 games, a little bit of getting their feet wet, getting used to each other. Is it to the point now where you think 3 games in they can be used to each other and ready for a challenge like this?
Well, that remains to be seen. There's a lot of mixed ingredients there. You know, you got some younger players trying to mesh with the older players, so there's a lot of teaching going on there too between the older players and the younger players. So, you know, I think with Coach Munson, the style that he plays, I think that they'll adjust faster than the average ball club.
Kansas State and Long Beach State met twice last year. A loss for Long Beach in Manhattan, and then another one in Puerto Rico as part of the Puerto Rico tip-off tournament. So if nothing else, they should be used to the pace Kansas State brings to the table, used to some of the players that they'll have on the floor, and we'll go into this game anything but blind against the K-State team that I'm sure they would love to get some redemption against here tonight at home. A timeout for us when we come back. The starting lineups and the opening tip. It's Kansas State. It's Long Beach State. It's the Walter Pyramid on a rockin' Friday night in Southern California. We're back after this on KBeach Radio. Welcome back inside the Walter Pyramid, Long Beach, California. Rob Brenner alongside Richie Schuler as we get you ready for Kansas State and Long Beach State. This will be the 9th all-time meeting between the 2 schools. The 49ers 2-6 all-time against the Wildcats. That includes 1-1 here at the Walter Pyramid. They haven't played Kansas State in this area, however, since all the way back in 1998. The other time, 1978, the year I was born, 36 years ago. So it has been few and far between for Kansas State to visit this area, and certainly nice to have them in town. A packed house is what's expected here at the Walter Pyramid. Richie, let's take a quick look at some keys to the game.
Well, Long Beach State, first and foremost, has to do what they do well, and that's pushing the ball and trying to get easy baskets when they're available. Secondly, though, they have to do something to stop Kansas State offense. I mean, they are sizzling right now. They're on fire, and they can do that by possibly having a full-court press, kind of make it soft a little bit, try to slow down the ball, and maybe also trap the post inside, maybe force some turnovers that way, goes back the other end for easy baskets.
It is certainly a difficult Kansas State team to stop when they enter the ball into the block. They have such size and skill, the Gibsons of the world and the Hurts as well.
Some junk defenses, maybe some trapping the post, maybe confuse those players. When you're undersized, a lot of times you have to do that against bigger players. They might throw a turnover, and you get an easy layup on the other end.
Let's take a look at this evening's starting lineups, and we will begin with visiting Kansas State under the guidance of their head coach Bruce Weber, who is in his 3rd year at the helm, 17th year overall as a collegiate head coach, was the 2013 Big 12 Coach of the Year after guiding Kansas State to a Big 12 championship for the first time in over 30 seasons. His point guard is Javon Thomas. Thomas, a sophomore at 6 foot 185 pounds. He's originally from the Queens, New York, went to Our Savior Lutheran High School, and then 1 year at Quality Education in North Carolina prior to going to St. John's Military Academy in Wisconsin. So this is a kid who has been all over the country and back and doing a great job right now, averaging 7 assists per game. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Marcus Foster, who was last year's point guard for K-State as a true freshman, an outstanding player, preseason All Big 12 this year, a sophomore, 6'3", 210 from Wichita Falls, Texas, and Hershey High School. Justin Edwards will play on the wing. He is a junior transfer, 6'4" and 200 pounds, from Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Started his collegiate career at Maine, spent 2 years there, was an outstanding player, 2013 All-America East second team performer, redshirted last year, a high flyer. Got to watch out for him on the back cuts, looking for lobs and dunk opportunities. The forwards are Stephen Hurt, also a transfer. He's a junior, 6'11", 265, from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Went to Siegel High School, then to Lipscomb for 2 years in Tennessee. Went to Northwest Florida JUCO for 1 year, and finally transferred over to Kansas State in his first season with the Wildcats. And rounding out the starting five will be Thomas Gibson. He is a senior and a down low, 6'9", 250-pounder from Cedar Hill, Texas, and Cedar Hill High School. 2013 honorable mention All Big 12, posting 11.7 points and 6.5 rebounds. For the homestanding Long Beach State 49ers, their head coach, of course, is Dan Munson. Year number 8 at the helm for Dan. 275 wins in his coaching career, 16 overall years as a collegiate head coach. And at Long Beach State, 120 up, 110 down. He is 3 wins shy of tying Jerry Tarkanian for the most wins in school history. Same 5 starters that Long Beach State used in the loss at Xavier this past Tuesday, and it's the seniors who will all get the start again. Mike Caffey, the point guard, 6 foot and 175 out of Corona, California. The senior from Centennial High School, leading the team in scoring at just under 20 points per game, also getting 3.7 rebounds. And Caffey shooting it exceptionally well from beyond the arc, 57% from long range in the early season. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Michael LaSalle, the senior, 6'3", 185 from Bountiful, Utah. Went to Bountiful High School. LaSalle shooting threes. And when I say he's shooting threes, he's shooting only threes. All 21 of his shots this year and all 11 of his makes from the field have come from three-point range. Playing on the wing, getting a second start of the season, is Tyler Lamb, the senior, 6'5" and 205 out of Ontario, California. The UCLA transfer, scored 17 points, grabbed 3 rebounds in his season debut on Tuesday in Cincinnati, Ohio. The forwards, David Samuels, a senior, 6'7", 225 from Bronx, New York. Blessed Sacrament High School, then Phelps Prep in Pennsylvania. 2 years at Collin Community College in Texas. Samuels averaging 10 points and 3.7 rebounds per game in his 3 contests this year. And rounding out the starting 5 will be Eric McKnight, senior, 6'9", 220. Raleigh, North Carolina is his hometown. Went to Princeton Day Academy in Maryland, then to Iowa State for 1 year. 2 years at Florida Gulf Coast, part of that Duck City team that went to the Sweet 16 a couple of seasons ago. And now in his first and only season as a graduate here at Long Beach State. And certainly off to a little bit of a slow start this year, Richie. And I think if Long Beach State is going to have a good chance of winning this game tonight, they'll have to get a great performance out of Eric McKnight.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it's always a difficult transition for any player, especially big guys coming into a new program. And you've got to find a way to mesh with the team. But, you know, playing at home is a whole other game. I mean, they played away twice. Now they're at home for the second time. Let's see how he performs tonight.
He gives them something that they probably weren't going to have at all this year. And they're very fortunate to find Eric. And that's a true center, a guy who can play the middle and especially give them some length, give them some rebounding. And really, as you look at his overall stats right now, it's the rebounding or the lack thereof that's been a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, and I think Coach Munson is trying to get a little bit more toughness out of him. You know, you see that in practices. He's just trying to push him a little bit. Hey, Eric McKnight has the ability. It's just a matter of getting him out of it and seeing how that takes place over here in the next few games.
One thing that has worked out very well in the early season for Long Beach State has been the offense, the shooting. It's been outstanding. I mentioned Caffey and LaSalle shooting a lot of threes and shooting them very well. As a team, 51% from beyond the arc, and from the field, 54%. So it really hasn't been the offense at all.
It's got to be the defense. Yeah, I mean, offensively, Long Beach State is playing at an extremely high level and against some pretty big programs. So defensively, they have to find a way to complement defensively as well as they've been playing offensively. And if that means slow down the tempo of the game defensively, fine, but they still got to play fast offensively.
Your three officials tonight, and they are Big 12 Conference officials, would be Duke Edsel, Terry Oglesby, and Keith Kimball. Long Beach State wearing the white jerseys tonight. It's the first time they've worn those this year. The all whites, Beach written in gold script, trimmed in black across the front of the jersey tops. Kansas State in their all purple road jerseys. It says KState in block letters across the front of their jerseys, and all white on the numbers and letters. Since Dan Munson took over as head coach here at Long Beach State 8 seasons ago, they have faced Kansas State 3 times, 0-3. I mentioned the 2 defeats a season ago. They also lost to them as part of the Diamond Head Classic 3 seasons ago, which was played, of course, in Hawaii. And Long Beach really never in any of those 3 games against the Wildcats, so finding a way to break that lock, figure out what the combination is, that's going to be the key tonight. Did they learn something from those 3 losses?
Could be 4th time's a charm.
Yeah, could be. We'll have to wait and see. Long Beach State, by the way, overall against Big 12 teams, not so good. 0-6 since Dan Munson took over. I mentioned the 3 against Kansas State. They've lost to Texas. They have lost to Kansas, as well as Missouri, when Missouri was still a member of that conference. Well, you can probably hear the crowd in the background. It is a packed house, and what isn't full right now is going to be full here in the next few minutes. The crowd being held out of the facility for an extra 10-15 minutes than we normally would have done so, because the women's game that was played before this one started went a little bit long to overtime, a game that was lost by Long Beach to USC. So this crowd here for the men's game, extra pumped up, extra revved up, excited to see what's going to happen on the floor here at the Walter Pyramid. We are set for basketball. Thomas Gibson will jump things up for K-State. Dave Samuels for Long Beach State. And we are ready to go as Samuels wins the opening tip. He's 3 for 4 in jump balls this year. And Long Beach State gets the first offensive possession of our game. Great to have you with us here on KBeach Radio as Samuels goes hard and gets called for an offensive foul. Bowled over Marcus Foster took the charge.
And Coach Munson does not want to see one of his best post players get a quick foul that early, especially going against the size that Kansas State has.
David Samuels has been very active in the first few games, which you do like to see, but again, struggling to get rebounds, something that they desperately need from him, even though he's only 6'6". Here's Gibson in the block, turns over the right shoulder, missed his layup, and then we're going to have a tie-up on the subsequent rebound. Michaela Sow and Stephen Hurt. Possession arrow favors Kansas State.
Well, you see what Kansas State's trying to do early. They're throwing the ball inside the post the first possession, trying to take advantage of their size.
Javon Thomas will lob in baseline right and then come to catch a pass at the left wing. Gibson goes out to set a screen as a cross-court pass is deflected, but handled by Foster. 25 on the shot clock. Foster nearly traveled, had the ball caught behind his back. Feeds it to Edwards, tries the floater from the right elbow and misses it. Rebound off to David Samuels, and we remain scoreless 45 seconds in. Mike Caffey around a high pick to Samuels at the top. He'll trigger a 3. Got it!
The stretch 4 that you cannot leave open out there. Kansas State may not be used to guarding players that can shoot the rock from that distance and that position.
3-0 49ers, a bit over a minute in, and that's not really David Samuels' game. As Foster will try to tie the game, misses his 3, but Gibson gets the offensive rebound for K-State. Shot clock resets. Another 3 from Foster, same spot, and he missed it yet again. And this time, Long Beach State on the glass. Mike Caffey will push, finds Lamb, he'll right wing 3. No. Gibson with a nice box out, but he lost the ball. However, they say it's out off of David Samuels. David doesn't agree. Dan Munson out to speak to the officials. I didn't get a great look at it, Richie. Did you?
I got an okay look at it, but I tell you, the crowd, they think they got the right answer, and they think that the call was wrong.
It's so interesting to me that they've developed these rules where officials can go over and look at the monitors in the last couple of minutes, but they can't even in the middle of the game. Those possessions count too.
I agree.
Here's Thomas, although it might slow down the game to the point where you probably wouldn't want it anyway. K-State trying to lob the ball down low, but Hurt's pass is out of the reach of Gibson and out of bounds at the baseline.
Kansas State's had 4 possessions, and twice they've gone down to Gibson early in the possession. So they clearly have that game plan. Let's beat up the bigs that Long Beach has inside.
He murdered Long Beach State in their game in Puerto Rico last year, 18 points, 10 rebounds, and he's leading K-State in rebounding again this season so far, but it's early as Samuel slips the ball over to McKnight, goes hard to the rack, but missed his layup. Pushed it a little bit too hard. I was surprised he didn't go up for the dunk. Still 3-0 49ers, 2 minutes played, as Thomas set things up for K-State. I like the difference in colors tonight. K-State wearing the purples, Long Beach State in the white. Very sharp out here on the pyramid floor. Foster with Hurt going out to set a pick, rolls around it to the right, gets double teamed, bounces for Hurt, maneuvers to the baseline, spins around. Nice defense from the 49ers, 9 to shoot as Foster will reset against the man-to-man. Finds Thomas, right wing 3 is up and almost banked it in. Gibson gets the offensive board and he is fouled.
Well, if that foul is on David Samuels, that's going to be his second.
I think they're going to get McKnight instead, 12 instead of 11, but I see what you're talking about. Samuels definitely in the area. A couple free throws coming for Thomas Gibson. Gibson is a decent free throw shooter for his size, 78% so far this year. He's gotten to the line 23 and now 24 times. Nobody else in the squad has more than 11. As this one is good.
So what a weapon you can have as a coach if you have a player like Gibson that can score inside, that massive, strong body, but when he gets fouled, can knock down free throws at 78%. That's impressive.
He is a tremendous all-around player, and I wouldn't be surprised this year if he is first team All Big 12 when the season comes to an end. Very solid conference. Most people think Texas or Kansas will win it this year, but K-State, one of those sleeper teams. Gibson makes them both. It's 3-2 Long Beach, 17-24 on the first half game clock. They said standing room only, and that's exactly what we've got tonight at the Pyramid. McKnight on the perimeter, hands off to Caffey in between the circles, picks up the dribble to Samuels, top of the key 3. This one is too strong. Fell in love with that shot after he made one. This time he misses. And again, that's not really his game as Foster gets to the offensive end. Dangerous pass to Edwards, able to get it in the lane, back outside, and now they can reset to the free throw line. Foster's jumper, no, too strong. A battle for the rebound. Again, it's K-State on the glass. 49ers fighting for the ball as it's loose underneath, and a foul will be called on Michaela LaSalle for reaching in. Be a non-shooting foul with 16:48 to go in the period.
We're seeing a lot of 50-50 balls off rebounds because somebody's going to take a shot. When Kansas State shoots, they're taking a shot, and the ball is getting batted around. Long Beach State has got to get those 50-50 balls to have a chance in this game.
The Wildcats will get Nino Williams, his first action of the day, 6'5", 220-pound senior. So even when they go to the bench, they bring in big bodies. And Nino is one of those. Not really a great outside player. Gets in, looks for rebounds as Thomas got to the baseline and had the ball knocked off of his leg, and it goes out of bounds. Nice heady play by the senior Eric McKnight. Still 3-2 Long Beach State with 16:37 to go in the half. Kansas State shows a little bit of full court. That's not really their game. As they back out of it now to allow the 49ers to get into the forecourt. Caffey to a rolling McKnight to the rim, and they call him for steps, and I think that's the right call.
Yeah, it's the right call, but what we're seeing from Eric McKnight is 3 times we've seen him play a little bit tougher, just like we had talked about in the pregame. And it's almost like he heard us talking, and Coach is finally getting through to him because he is playing very tough, very hard-nosed so far in this one.
Concerning at all that he looks a little bit uncomfortable around the rim. And I wonder if maybe he has been working on that offensive game. Again, a guy that looks for a lot of dunks. It's his style. He wants to get those layups. As Thomas gets to the right elbow, swing it cross court. Edwards with a 3. This one is too strong. There's McKnight with a rebound. I love the fact that he was able to sky all the way up at the apex of his leap. Still 3-2 49ers. Low scoring start. Both teams a little nervous. There's McKnight around the rim. Give the assist to Tyler Lamb. Great feed.
A little 2-man game there.
Love it. 5-2 Long Beach State. They'll be trap. Here is that 1-2-2. It's more of a 3-2 half-court look, isn't it, Richie?
Yeah, it is. It looks like a 1-2-2 in the full court. They'll extend it all the way to the half-court line.
Edwards tries a deep corner three this time. It goes in and out, and a foul on the rebound. It'll be on Kansas State 49er basketball when we come back. 15 minutes, 30 seconds to play. First half, Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. It's 5-2. The 49ers on top of the Kansas State Wildcats right here on KBeach Radio. 15 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first half from the Pyramid. 5-2 Long Beach State over Kansas State. Rob Redder alongside Richie Schuler. Richie, right now Kansas State not shooting it well, and that's an understatement. 0 for 8.
Yeah, and I think what Long Beach State's doing there, you see 5 of those 8 shots are three-pointers. Long Beach State is doing a great job of moving on the fly to the pass and getting a hand up in their shot as soon as they take it. I think that's really disturbing Kansas State's ability to make the shots.
49er basketballs, they bring it the length of the floor, moving right to left. Couple of substitutions. Deontay North, the true freshman, is in for Long Beach, the Centennial High School grad. As Mike Caffey moves to the far corner, finds McKnight. He'll try a right elbow jumper, and he buries it from 17.
And he looks relieved. And he looks like he's finally feeling comfortable. He's playing tough defensively, and he's knocking down shots on the offensive end.
In the first now 3+ games of the season, that is the first long-distance jumper that I've seen McKnight attempt this year. Nice dribble drive as Foster couldn't finish at the rim, and Tyler Lamb gets the rebound for the 49ers. Again, they want to push. Kansas State does get back. Lamb trying to go coast to coast, missed the banker. Samuels the rebound, and he lays it through.
There's those 50-50 balls I'm telling you about. Long Beach State starting to get those lately.
Long Beach State 4 for 8. Kansas State 0 for 9 from the field. By the way, to finish those substitutions, Wesley Iwundu, wearing number 25, is in for K-State. He's a wing player. As the ball skips to the near corner, Foster has it. Also in is Nigel Johnson, point guard from Ashburn, Virginia, 6'1", 185. He's playing off the ball right now as Iwundu has it right in front of our broadcast location. Tries to lob it into the block to Gibson, and the pass is broken up out of bounds off the hand of McKnight.
What McKnight did there, as soon as the pass was in the air, he tried to get in front and get a deflection or steal. That's what they're going to have to do against the big fella Gibson. Nobody matches up for him pound for pound.
5 seconds to shoot for Kansas State. They'll trigger in baseline right. Sebediah Youssef just checked in for the 49ers during the last dead ball. Here's Iwundu at the top with the shot clock getting ready to expire, and he buries a 3. That's a big shot.
It's a big shot in Deontay North's face with his hand up.
So that's the first field goal of the half for Kansas State. It took them a little more than 6 minutes, and they trail it 9-5. Tyler Lamb, the senior, to another senior in Samuels, and yet another one in Caffey. Gets into the lane. Back to Tyler again at the near wing, and they'll reset with still 11 seconds on the shot clock. Youssef comes out high to set a pick. Caffey behind it, got himself up in the air, passed up on the jumper and turned it over. Marcus Foster's 1-on-2, and as a shot blocked, Caffey able to save it from going out of bounds, but it goes right to Iwundu. And then Iwundu's pass directly out of bounds into the first row as he wanted to shovel it over to Foster.
It's not always pretty. Long Beach State's getting it done. They're showing the effort, doing those little things that coaches talk about all the time.
Are you happy right now with the different defensive looks that they're giving Kansas State?
I think it's giving them trouble. You see a little trap in the post. You see some full court soft pressure, trying to confuse the players for Kansas State.
4-point 49er advantage, 13-14 to go in the period. Tyler Lamb dribbles left of the key and lost the ball. It's out of bounds. I believe Kansas State, yep, they touched it last. Off the hand of Trey Harris, who's also seeing his first action of the game. A freshman from Edwardsville, Illinois, 6'5" and 195. Justin Bibbins also in for Long Beach State with Mike Caffey getting a rest. And away from the ball on the inbound pass, a foul. And they'll get it on Deontay North for setting an illegal screen.
Trying to set a staggered screen for the inbounder, who happened to be Tyler Lamb. He inbounded it, came off the staggered screen, trying to get him a 3-point shot.
Pretty substantial amount of turnovers early. That's the 4th on Long Beach. Kansas State has 3, and we've now played 7 minutes. Nigel Johnson to the top of the key, and now Wesley Iwundu guarded by North at the right wing. Gets to the left elbow, feeds the corner. A 3 from Trey Harris is good. So Trey Harris knocks down the triple, and just like that, Kansas State is back to within 1 at 9-8. Justin Bibbins picks up the rock and shovels it back outside to Tyler Lamb. The coaching staff for Long Beach State yelling out for the team to move the ball as we will get a holding foul. Nope. Correction. One official said holding foul. The other one said offensive foul. And now they get together to discuss. And we'll see who wins the argument.
Well, Tyler Lamb has been creating a lot of havoc, penetrating the basketball.
For now, Dan Munson not so happy, and Bruce Weber probably equally not happy, as the officials were a bit confused on which call they should make. And it will go against Kansas State ultimately. So they get it on Trey Harris. Branford Jones up off the 49er bench. She'll come in. Tyler Lamb will get his first rest. 12:33 to go in the period. And a pretty good start for Tyler, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's got a lot of deflections. He's got his hand up on defense. You see him talking. You know, some of those things don't show up in a stat sheet, but they're so valuable for a team.
He just changes this team. I mean, so much. The experience that he brings, all those Division I games at UCLA and here last year with Long Beach State. 25 on the shot clock as Justin Bibbins has it between the rings. Maneuvers to the right, down the lane, outside Deontay North, passed up on a three, tries the drive, misses the shot. Samuels one tip, then two, gets it back again, throws it up, and draws contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. David Samuels has come to play, Richie.
And what's ironic is Long Beach is the one who's scoring inside. We talked about Kansas State being the ones that we were so worried about getting so many baskets inside, but both their field goals that they've made have been three-pointers. So it's almost like we're flipping scripts here early in the first half.
And a pretty good amount of time right now with Thomas Gibson on the bench, which is interesting. Samuels to the charity stripe, the first one up, and does not fall. Touched the rim a few times and rolled off. Kansas State will get Malik Harris in for the first time. He does not play much, at least hasn't this year. 6'8", 215-pound freshman. He is from Orland Park, Illinois. A lot of Midwesterners, of course, on this roster. As Samuels does convert on the second, he will check out. And Jack Williams, another true freshman, is in for Long Beach State, leading the team in rebounding, coming in 4 per game. 6'8", 195 from Valencia, California. Very athletic player. So now you have Youssef along with Williams and North and Bibbins. 4 freshmen on the floor. Here's Nigel Johnson with a right wing three. It's too strong. Battle for the rebound. Off a few hands. Hurt digs it out at the free throw line, but then has it stripped out of his hands. Back the other way goes Bibbins to North. They'll reset. Good job by Kansas State to get back on D. 10-8 49ers. Under 12 to go in the period. Jack Williams with a handoff in front of the KState bench. It's Deontay North again, penetrates, knocks over a defender, and they'll wave off the shot and call an offensive foul. Stephen Hurt standing underneath took the charge, and that takes us to the under 12-minute media timeout. 11:38 to play. First period from the Pyramid in Long Beach. The 49ers ahead of the Wildcats 10-8. We're back after this on KBeach Radio. 11:38 to go in our first period at the Pyramid. 10-8 Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. Kansas State, by the way, is just the third Power 6 conference team to come to the Walter Pyramid at the Dan Munson era. They are 1-1 against the previous 2. The loss was to North Carolina. That was 3 years ago. The win was last year against USC. It's Kansas State ball. Rob Brender alongside Richie Schuler. Pleasure to bring you 49er basketball tonight here on KBeach Radio. The Wildcats working it left to right as Stephen Hurt, the big fella, working away from the hoop, and a reach-in foul on Temadayo Youssef. That is number 6 on the 49ers, and with 11:25 to go in the half, Kansas State will shoot the rest of the way, which could be some good fortune for a Kansas State team, Richie, that's not shooting the ball well at all.
Not from the foul line.
The one-do. Now to Johnson in front of the 49er bench. Nice feed down low to Harris. Makes the catch, missed the shot. But there's Stephen Hurt, the big fella, with the left-handed tip.
Weak side rebound. Williams had to come help. Weak side rebound's wide open.
10-10. We are knotted again. Long Beach State built up a nice early lead, but K-State has come back, and the 49ers not scoring consistently over the last handful of minutes. Caffey with some fancy dribbling. Will throw near side to Michaela Sal. And now Branford Jones into the block. It goes Youssef. Youssef back to the basket, works himself into the body of Hurt, but missed the shot badly, and then I believe commits a foul going over the back on the rebound.
Youssef started to make a nice slide dribble move on that right block with his left hand, but when the contact was created, it's almost like he faded back a little bit. Didn't want to absorb that contact on the way up. He did take it on the dribble, but not on the way up.
Maybe one of those things he has to learn as a freshman, and that is the 7th foul, so the players will march down to this end, and Stephen Hurt will shoot the 1-and-1 for Kansas State. Hurt is 3 out of 4 at the charity stripe so far this year. And so 2 fouls on Temadiah Youssef, and he's already out of the game. Eric McKnight returns as the front end is no good from Hurt, rebounded by Mike Caffey. So we remain tied. Caffey pushing the ball up, gets fouled at the charity stripe. This will be the second on Trey Harris. You like the aggressiveness of Mike Caffey.
You do, and you have to give some credit to Kansas State because they know Long Beach wants to play up and down, and they have done a very good job, tremendous job of taking away the transition offense for Long Beach, and that's really where Eric McKnight needs to excel.
Talk about how big this is for Long Beach as Jack Williams heads down the lane, and the putback jam! A 2-hand rim rocker for Eric McKnight off the missed layup from Williams. That is McKnight's first dunk of the year, and Richie, that is his game.
That's his game. Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast. And it brings a lot of energy into the pyramid.
12-10, the 49ers back ahead by a deuce. Here's Nigel Johnson with a nice ball fake at the top, steps in for 2, missed it short. A 1-2 over the back of Jack Williams. And it'll be 49er ball. Good box out by Jack, the freshman.
It's a great box out. It's a very good contest on the shot. And now you're getting a lot of energy. You're getting the people, the fans in the pyramid excited about this team. That's only going to help in a game like this.
That foul on a 1-2 is his second, and he will depart. Edwards returns to the Kansas State lineup. And also back in is Thomas Gibson. Richie, we were a little surprised talking about this during the commercial that he'd been sitting quite that long, 3 or 4 minutes off the floor.
Right, I know, especially with the freshman in the game for Long Beach State.
Just about midway through the period. Here's Branford Jones on a nice give and go, and he lays it through. Give the assist to Michaela Sal.
I love the way Branford Jones plays. He almost is very similar to A.J. Spencer, at least the closest player to A.J. Spencer. And with him out with the ACL tear, it's huge to have him playing big minutes.
4 in a row for Long Beach. They're ahead 4, 14-10. Nigel Johnson with Dan Munson standing up off the 49er bench, barking out orders defensively to his team. Johnson to the top of the key. Now moves parallel to the lane, back into the corner. Lots of dribbling, not going anywhere though. Edwards with 7 to shoot. Had the ball knocked to the ground. They're down there trying to wrestle it out. Branford Jones creates a jump ball with a wonderful play. Possession arrow favors the 49ers.
Scrappy defense you're seeing here by Beach. Hands all over the place. Hands getting on a lot of basketballs. It's creating a lot of havoc and forcing turnovers.
Active hands of Branford Jones. Not really known as a defensive player, but obviously, if you're going to play in Dan Munson's system, you will learn to play defense.
Mirroring the basketball, active hands, trying to get deflections, pass flicks.
Wildcats again show full court. Once the ball's inbounded, they'll, for the most part, back off, although staying close to Mike Caffey is Javon Thomas, the sophomore. Caffey able to break the timeline with no trouble whatsoever. 23 on the shot clock. Around a Jack Williams screen, left side of the key, sweeps underneath, finds LaSalle in the corner for 3. It's short. And the rebound on the weak side for Kansas State. They will push. Edwards with a floater, way short. Here come the 49ers back the other way. The outlet to McKnight. 2 Wildcats around him. Lost the ball right to Williams. Layup is blocked, but a foul. Foul on Kansas State. Justin Edwards.
That was the second time, maybe the first time, that Long Beach passed the ball up the floor in that manner, trying to play that up and down speed that they want, and were able to get a pretty good shot off. Obviously, Williams is at the line, so he took a layup around the basket but got fouled.
And when McKnight caught that pass initially, he probably was thinking, oh my goodness. Either what do I do, or maybe this is my chance to be a point guard.
That's the system that he excelled so well in.
That's right, running the floor as Williams makes the first. Justin Bibbins back in for Long Beach State. Mike Caffey will get a rest with 8:56 on the first half clock. 15-10 49ers. Looking for their 6th point in a row. If Williams can convert, which he does. 2 for 2 on that trip. So you have to be happy, although you're not scoring much, that you're maintaining at least the lead through the majority of this first half.
It's all about who scores the most amount of points.
That's right. Edwards away from the rim, being guarded very closely by his opposite number. Jones may have gotten away with a push-off. Williams lobs it down low, pass deflects right into the hands of Edwards. He missed the layup, and the tip is good from Gibson. Very close, Richie, to being a goaltending violation. 16-12, Long Beach State. Dan Munson certainly wanted that call. There's Bibbins with a nice wheel around in the lane, and he gets it to go with the floater. That's a gorgeous move from the freshman.
Beautiful. He's so unassuming. Gets to the basket, fakes it, layup it the other way.
Forcing the ball the other way, and we will have a jump ball. Marcus Foster try to jump stop in the paint, and 2 or 3 Long Beach State hands were on that ball, so they'll call a jump. Again, good defense from the 49ers. Possession arrow, we'll keep it right here with KState. They'll have 31 seconds on the shot clock, 8:12 on the game clock, and throw in baseline right. Edwards makes a leaping grab, and will set things up. This defense for Long Beach State, now they're back into the 2-3 zone. Foster in the near corner. Swing it far side. Back to Edwards. Edwards on the drive. Blocked away. What a rejection. The outlet pass, and we'll have a holding foul on Kansas State. The block for David Samuels. And then the foul on Kansas State takes them over the foul limit. Free throws for Long Beach State when we return. 7:55 to go. First half from the Pyramid. It's rocking in here, and why not? 18-12, Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State on KBH Radio. 7:55 to go in the first period. 18-12, Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. Rob Render with Richie Schuler. Right now, 4 for 20 from the field for K-State. Richie, what is Long Beach State doing defensively to make that happen?
Throwing a lot of different looks. You see in man-to-man half court, but 1-2-2 press, going back into a 3-2. Sometimes they're in a 2-3, but most importantly, the fundamentals. Active hands, they're getting 50-50 balls, deflections. They're just out hustling Kansas State, and right now they've proven so far they want this game more.
Justin Bibbins at the free throw line for the 49ers. Connects on the front end of the 1-and-1. He'll have one more to come. And you have to be impressed again with the freshman on this team. As Bibbins makes them both count, he will go out. Mike Caffey back in, and Long Beach State ahead 8, 20-12. So now you have Bibbins with 4. You've got Williams contributing. You certainly have some outstanding play and limited minutes from all of the freshmen tonight, Richie, and that is such a big key for this 49er team. As Thomas has it at the top, Caffey comes out to defend. The 49ers again mixing up the defenses, and there's a steal. They were playing man-to-man, and Jones took it away. Outlets Caffey, hard to the rack. Missed on the layup, but he is fouled.
That's the game they want to play. Make your defense become your offense. Branford Jones gets another steal, pushes it up the floor to Michael Caffey, and Caffey gets fouled going to the basket.
Love that the different looks, and we've talked about this, but it bears repeating. The different looks Long Beach State is giving Kansas State really appears to be confusing.
When teams are more athletic than you, and they're clearly they beat you size for size, you can make them think more by throwing different defenses at them. You take the athleticism out of their game. That's the only thing Kansas State has. They have size and athleticism over Long Beach State, but they're taking that out of them by making them think.
Caffey made the first, he misses on the second, and the uncontested rebound for the Wildcats. So 21-12, a 9-point 49er advantage, 7:27 to go in our first half. And again, they have maintained either the lead or the tie this entire period for the most part. As a matter of fact, for the entire period. And we'll get a reach-in foul, this one on Branford Jones, as he knocked over Nigel Johnson. Free throws coming for the Wildcats.
That's a foul that Coach Munson will live with, because Jones has got a lot of deflections. He's gotten a couple steals now, and he's just trying to be aggressive, trying to do it all over again.
Tyler Lamb returns for the 49ers. Michaela Sal to the Pine. You like the substitution pattern right now as well. We've seen a lot of different lineups out there for Long Beach State. As Johnson converts on the first. I mean, for the most part, it appears as though they're trying new things. So at the very least, it's working.
Yeah, I think, and Coach Weber, yeah, he's doing a lot of substitutions here and trying to find something that will click and that will work against Long Beach State.
Here is full court pressure and a turnover on the inbound pass. Jack Williams threw it right into the hands of the wrong color jersey. You Nino Williams made him pay with an easy layup. So a 3-point, make it a 4-point possession rather for Kansas State. And now they're down by just 5 with exactly 7 to go in the period. 21-16. Very careless turnover. The 6th on Long Beach. And nearly another one. Jack Williams harassed at the top, able to catch a pass. Feeded left side to Mike Caffey. 15 to work with. Crossover dribble. Pull up 3. Got it! Mike Caffey tickles the twine from downtown, and we talked about it early on tonight, Richie, shooting the ball very well from 3.
He's been outstanding, and you saw it right there. He just spotted up right in the defender's face. No hesitation.
Javon Thomas to the baseline. Dangerous pass into the hands of Williams. Tries the drive, missed the layup, then tipped the ball up, missed again. Could have been a goaltending on Kansas State. They didn't call it. Here's Jones on the outlet. Stops on a dime. Tried to feed the ball to Williams. Had trouble with it, but tracks it down at the far sideline. And then Caffey gets called for carrying. And again, I think the officials made the absolute right call. Turnover number 7 on Long Beach. Jack Williams out. Eric McKnight returns for the 49ers.
When Eric McKnight came out of the game just a couple moments ago, the coaching staff was very excited. They said something to the effect of, "This is how we want you to play. You're playing your tail off right now."
And when he plays this team is very dangerous. And it will be even more dangerous in the conference schedule. We'll get a traveling violation on Kansas State's Javon Thomas. Hop, skip, and a jump to the lane, and that did not work. Turnover number 7 on the Wildcats. Stephen Hurt back into their lineup. And Nito Williams will head out. Bruce Weber, calm as always on the sidelines, showing a little bit of disgust there, but for the most part, a very calm, cool, and collected type of coach. Not the kind that shows emotion, a la Dan Munson. Although occasionally you might see it out of Bruce as well. Under 6 to go in the period, and there's another careless turnover on Long Beach State. Dave Samuels thinks that the ball might have been touched before it went out of bounds by Thomas Gibson. The Zebras saw it the other way. And again, Richie, you're in a game like this kind of opponent, you can't do that.
Yeah, it was just a miscommunication. They made eye contact, Lamb and Samuels there, but Samuels happened to look away. Lamb thought he was expecting the pass.
24-16, Long Beach State. Here's Johnson, left wing. Nice jump pass into the near corner. Edwards open for 3, but he missed it long. Stephen Hurt gets the offensive rebound. Had it knocked out of his hands. It's out off of David Samuels.
And they're doubling down some, Long Beach. Caffey was guarding Hurt after that rebound. Quite a mismatch. You saw Samuels go down and try to double team. Almost deflected the ball.
Lots and lots of switching. Those big bodies paying off there for Kansas State. Stephen Hurt really didn't even have to jump for that rebound. He's just such a big body. And he's outside right now setting a screen. Johnson rolls around it to the right. Feeds Thomas. Can't get around Caffey. Tries to. Nope. But missed his shot. There's Stephen Hurt to clean up. He misses. Left of the rim. Rebounded by Long Beach State's Dave Samuels. On the push. Tyler Lamb with the ball fake. Shovels to Samuels. Missed the layup. He was at the basket all alone and missed. Thomas this way. Turns it over. Right through the hands of Edwards on a bullet pass. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. And a timeout for Kansas State with 4:50 to go in the half, still 24-16. So, as we reset things, Long Beach State again has either been tied or led this entire period. And Richie, we talked about their good shooting. They have shot the ball exceptionally well. The active hands-on defense. The turnovers, really you would think would affect them more than it has in this period so far, but Kansas State equally as sloppy.
Yeah, they can't convert. That's the problem. So, I mean, yeah, Long Beach State is turning the ball over and pretty much several times in the last 3 or 4 minutes here. Kansas State just having a hard time scoring. Part of that is Mike Caffey. He's doing an excellent job of guarding the other team's point guard and not letting him drive middle. So he's taking away dribble penetration to the basket. Then you see Eric McKnight. He's not strong. He's not really that strong, but he's using his length and playing with a lot of confidence by fronting Thomas Gibson. And he's taking Gibson out of the game. He only has 4 points. This is Gibson that averages 19 points per game. He's completely taken him out of his game in the post.
It's 49er basketball as Caffey throws in. Full court pressure from Kansas State, but now Caffey gets it back and will walk it across the timeline with plenty of time on the shot clock. 4:41 on the game clock. McKnight far elbow back to the basket. Now near side, Branford Jones, 15-footer, good.
I don't know how he was so open. I mean, just a great handoff play for Branford Jones.
And a nice pass from Eric McKnight as well to set that up. Court vision from the big fella. He's outside guarding Thomas Gibson. That's not where Gibson's comfortable handling the rock. Gives it up to Edwards. His pass, a very close one off the leg of Hurt. Right back to Edwards. Feeds the corner. Step back attempt. Nearly a three shot, but instead we'll get a pass and then an offensive foul. It's Edwards, and good defense again from Branford Jones.
And Mike Caffey. Nigel Johnson had to make an air pass, a jump pass rather. He got in the air. Caffey had his hand up. Same guy he wouldn't let drive middle, and he had to dish it off to somebody around the perimeter. That's what helped force the turnover.
Justin Bibbins will return. Mike Caffey will go out. Dan Munson doing a good job of getting him regular rest in this half. He was held out of practice, from what I understand, on Thursday, specifically for that reason. Get some extra rest. The 49ers, tough travel early in the week, playing a lot of games now. They have a game on Sunday coming up at UCLA, so it doesn't get any easier. 4 minutes to go in this half, a 10-point Long Beach State advantage. David Samuels trouble with a very close pass that was delivered from Bibbins, able to recover, hands off to Justin, and then he turns it over. It's 2-on-2. A 1-2 into the paint, throws to the near corner, a three from Johnson, no. They continue to miss, ball out of bounds, and it's off of Kansas State. It hit the foot of Trey Harris last. And we get the final media timeout of the first half. 3:44 to go, an exciting first period here at the Pyramid in Long Beach. 26-16, the 49ers ahead of the Wildcats on KBH Radio. Rob Renner alongside Richie Schuler. 3:44 to go in our first period at the Pyramid. 26-16, Long Beach State over Kansas State. Their biggest lead of the game, matched right now at 10 points. Richie, this is a stopover game, of course, for Kansas State. They're on the way to Maui, going to play in the Maui Invitational this week. So that said, any chance maybe they're taking this game for granted at all?
Well, I doubt the coaching staff is. I doubt Coach Weber and his staff are. I mean, they're looking at this as any other game. But sometimes 19, 20-year-olds, they may be looking, oh, man, we got Purdue coming up, and then the winner of Arizona, possibly Arizona or Missouri. Who knows?
It is Long Beach State basketball. A little bit of difficulty inbounding as Kansas State played a full court trapping D, but Branford Jones has the basketball now and walks it across into the forecourt. It's Eric McKnight away from the rim near the top. Hands off back to Jones. Pull up three. Got it! Branford Jones has come to play, Richie.
That entire play out of the timeout was drawn up for him. Couple of screens, he screened, he got a screen, got a handoff, three-point shot.
The 49ers are 3 for 6 from downtown. Jones has 7 points. We will have a holding foul on Dave Samuels, trying to defend on the much larger Thomas Gibson in the block.
Well, normally Eric McKnight has been guarding him. And Samuels and him may have gotten switched off throughout the course of that possession. Eric McKnight's length really has bothered Gibson. Samuels doesn't quite have the length that McKnight has.
That was the second on David, so he's going to have to leave the lineup. Goes to the bench with 3:12 to go in the period. That was the 9th team foul, so the 1-and-1 for Thomas Gibson, the Cedar Hill, Texas native. Left-hander connects on the first free throw. Very nice stroke for Thomas. Led the team last year in field goal percentage, free throws taken, and double-doubles. I think he was all around their best player last year, and certainly you look at the numbers and they would dictate that he was one of the 2 most valuable, he and Foster. He misses on the second, 1 out of 2 on that trip, and Long Beach State maintains their 29-17 advantage. 3 minutes to go in this first half. Justin Bibbins dishes right, Williams backdoor lob, and a 2-hand jam for Eric McKnight.
Freshman to transfer combo.
What a pass. What a pass. Over the head, both hands as he lobbed it up to McKnight.
Fundamentally sound.
And now 2 dunks in the game for Eric. He hadn't had one in the first 3 contests coming in. A 1-2 at the top. 31-17 Long Beach State. 2.5 to go. Good defense again. 13 to shoot. Here's Gibson, low right. Back to the basket. They flash a double team. Now pull back. Skips it far corner. A 3 on the way. Good. Trey Harris.
Well, it was good team defense. Even though Harris hit that 3, 2 people came down at different times to help McKnight on the big fella, and he had to kick it out to an open 3-point shot.
And a huge basket for Kansas State as they were seeing it slip away there. Justin Bibbins held up on his drive. It'll be a non-shooting foul. However, that's number 10 on the Wildcats. Into the double bonus go the 49ers. And Justin Bibbins to the free throw line to shoot a pair with 2:07 on the clock. Boy, you would love, if you're Long Beach State, to go to the halftime break with a double-digit lead.
Oh, clearly, obviously, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And Bibbins, I like what he has brought to this team because he is bringing a lot of energy. He's a freshman, 5'8". He's the smallest guy on the floor and plays almost like he's an upperclassman. I like what Coach Munson is doing, trying to sub Caffey and him out, trying to play somewhat equal minutes.
Unfortunately, he misses both at the free throw line, so still an 11-point advantage. And he's a very good free throw shooter, so that's a bit of a surprise. Gibson couldn't get the pass into the block. It was out of his hands and out of bounds. However, Tyler Lamb is the one that touched it last. Again, good aggressive defense.
Well, he came off his guy anticipating that pass inside to the big man. Anytime you can anticipate and get a deflection, that's a good sign of good mental defenders.
Wondu has it, guarded in the man-to-man by Lamb. Sticks with him around to pick. Gibson trying to get free underneath. McKnight fronting him for now. And there's a steal. Taking away Tyler Lamb. 2-on-1. The bounce to Caffey. Reverse layup is good. He finished with the left hand.
It's the length of Lamb, but he's mentally quick as much as he is physically quick. He reads these passes, and that's how he's able to get all these deflections and steals.
Long Beach State plays this ultra-difficult non-conference schedule every year as Nino Williams is able to get underneath and lay it through. Nice job getting around three defenders. Just to finish that point, Richie, is now it's 33-22. Inbound to Caffey and a timeout. Perfect timing because I wanted to get this in. Long Beach State plays that difficult non-conference schedule every year, and it makes you wonder, Richie, that if they could ever get games at home, and that's so difficult to do if you're a mid-major. There's almost nothing to gain if you're the power conference team, but if you can get those teams consistently to come to your house, who knows how many games you'd win.
You saw it last year. I mean, USC came in here, and that was a thriller win. I think Tyler Lamb made that layup to win it at the end in his first game back, but you're right. I mean, it is a very difficult place to play. It's a unique environment. I think you said it in the break. This is one of the most difficult places to play if you're a high major team. You're not used to the crowd being so close to the floor. They're just kind of on top of you. It's almost like you're playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Right, or I guess for Kansas State, maybe Kansas. I mean, that Allen Fieldhouse certainly, they're right near you. There's 10 or 12,000. I can't remember the exact number that can fit in there. That's the most comparable environment I can think of for K-State, and it's got to be tough for them.
Yeah, it has to be. And plus, the fans here, the crowd, the atmosphere, it's always happening. It's always a lot of fun to be around, and I think it's a bit intimidating for opponents no matter what level you are.
33-22 Long Beach. There's a $1:09. Minute 9 seconds to go in this first half. It is Long Beach State ball. Tyler Lamb will inbound to the backcourt. Caffey gets it now. The Kansas State defense peels back. We'll see how much clock the 49ers kill. I think at this point, they're probably just going to run the standard offense. Caffey around midcourt. Will bounce it over to Jack Williams. Now to Eric McKnight. Everything on the perimeter right now for the 49ers. Still 16 to shoot. Lamb gets to the baseline. Shot no, but a foul. And I think it's going to be an offensive foul. It is on Tyler for charging.
That's one negative to somebody who penetrates all the time. You're gonna have more rewards than anything else, but you will get called for some offensive fouls.
That was one of those ticky-tack ones, though, right? I mean, at least at this point in the game, it's been very physical.
I agree.
Nino Williams in front of the 49er bench. Johnson, the different shot clock to game clock is about 12.5 seconds. Gibson has it low left. He's triple teamed. Might have gotten away with a walk. Picks up the ball. Outside of Wondu. Puts it on the deck. Wheels around. Feeds underneath Harris. Reverse layup is good. And timeout. Yes, timeout by the officials. Don't know why. They're going to get together. And I'm not sure exactly what they're discussing, Richie.
I think it has something to do with Tyler Lamb's foul on the other end. I'm thinking Coach Munson thought it was the wrong player called for the foul. Was it not an offensive foul on him? Was it a foul off the ball?
Not sure. And they'll go over to the monitor. At least two of the officials will and take a look. 22 seconds on the game clock. And a 9-point Long Beach State advantage, 33-24. So no matter what happens here, as long as something very strange isn't happening at the scores table right now, Long Beach will get the ball. They can hold for a final shot, and at the very least, a 9-point first half lead wouldn't be all bad.
I think what they have to really focus on is not turning the ball over again, because they've had some silly turnovers. They have 10 so far.
Yeah, hold on to the basketball, get a good shot.
Yeah, and probably the best thing to do there is get the ball in one of your two guards' hands. Caffey or Lamb, run a ball screen with about 5 seconds to go. Get your shooters outside in the corners, and if you don't have a layup, kick it out to an open shooter. It's a safe way to go. Now, Kansas State may not let you. They've been pressuring full court the last few minutes, trying to get their tempo going, get their confidence up. So it'll be interesting to see how they guard it.
We talked about this during the intro tonight, the fact that Long Beach State has seen Kansas State twice before recently, last year. Do you think that has anything to do with how well they're playing against them tonight?
Could be. Yeah, I think you're right. I think, yeah, because you have more opportunities to scout. You have more opportunities to see what works and what doesn't work. And, yeah, I think it could have a lot to do with it, actually.
The officials are still looking at the monitor, by the way, here at the scores table. And again, we don't know what they're seeing. The monitor's turned exactly away from us. And as they look now toward Dan Munson, kind of shaking their head saying, no, there was nothing there. And again, it might be about that Tyler Lamb play that you were talking about. So either way, nothing comes of it whatsoever except a delay for about a minute and a half. And Long Beach State will get set to throw in.
Well, it's an empty possession, but fortunately it's only the first foul for Tyler.
Both teams are in the double bonus right now. Kansas State making a substitution during the dead ball period, getting Brian Rolder into the game. Long Beach will inbound in the backcourt as Tyler Lamb will bring it up. Tyler with 15 to shoot, crosses the timeline, feeds Caffey, but it's a bad pass, and there's the over and back, and just as you said, Richie, the turnovers.
That's the 11th turnover of the half. If this game comes down to the wire, if Kansas State comes back in the second half, because they're not going to play as poor in the second half as they have in this. They're going to shoot a lot better. These turnovers are going to come back to haunt them.
And does Long Beach State have one more quality defensive stop in them with 11.6 seconds to go? Nino Williams lobs into the backcourt. Nigel Johnson guarded by Caffey in the man-to-man. Rolls to the right. Now Williams on a switch. Up top Williams. 4 seconds to shoot. It's Nino. Free throw line jumper. Got it. It deadened on the back of the rim and fell through. And that will do it for the first half. How about that? Long Beach State does turn it over, and it does lead to 2 easy points for Kansas State. So now it's 33-26 at the break, and not what you wanted from those last handful of seconds.
You know, you're absolutely right. And the case there is, even though you have a 7-point lead, when you're going to the locker room, you feel like you're losing because you really struggled there down the stretch. You made some mistakes. In a way, though, that can be good because now the guys in the locker room are not thinking, oh, we got these guys. They're thinking, man, we got to straighten this thing up. We got to straighten ourselves up in order to win this basketball game.
And if they play 20 minutes, the next 20, as good as they did or as well as they did the first 20, they were a pretty good chance they're going to come out of here with a victory against a very good Kansas State team. But lots and lots of basketball to come, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you here in just a little while. For now, we'll send it back to the K-Beach studios for the halftime score update, and we'll be back here, Richie and I will, in just about 15 minutes for the beginning of the second half. Again, your halftime score, Long Beach State 33 and the Wildcats of Kansas State 26. A break for us back after this on K-Beach Radio. Welcome back to the Walter Pyramid, Long Beach, California. The 49ers ahead of the Kansas State Wildcats 33-26. Rob Brender alongside Richie Schuler as both teams have just retaken the floor, getting their warm-up shots in, and just a couple of minutes away from the start of the second period. A quick look at the first half stats. Kansas State shot at 9 out of 31, just 29%. 3 out of 11 from downtown, 27%. They got to the free throw line 7 times, made 5 of them. Out-rebounded Long Beach State, but barely. It was very close. 19-17 on the glass. They did, speaking of the Wildcats, have 11 offensive rebounds, but just 3 assists on 9 made buckets, and they turned it over 10 times. Nobody in double figures. Their leading scorer, Trey Harris, had 8, 6 for Nino Williams. For Long Beach State, 54% shooting, and that's become a trademark early this year. 12 out of 22 from the field. That's 54.5% to be exact. 3 out of 6 from downtown, 6 out of 10 at the line. They turned it over 11 times, but had 7 assists on their 12 made buckets. And as we look at the individual scores, nobody in double figures. 8 for Eric McKnight, which was a good sign, and 7 for Branford Jones off the bench. One thing that stands out, Richie, as well, Long Beach State points in the paint 14-10 over Kansas State. And if you would have told me that, and I'm guessing you that, coming into this game, we both would have been shocked.
Yeah, and only 2 field goals made for Long Beach State outside the paint. You know, they made some free throws, but you're right. They're getting a lot of shots inside the paint, and Kansas State is +9 on their shots. So what's going on here is Kansas State's missing a lot of shots. Good defense by Long Beach State. But Long Beach State is capitalizing on the shots and opportunities that they have.
As we get ready to start the second period, what does Long Beach State need to do to maintain this lead that they have had the majority of the game?
Well, I think more importantly than anything, they've got to cut their unforced turnovers. They had about 5 unforced turnovers of their 11 in the first half. Things that weren't forced, just silly mistakes, threw the ball out of bounds. A miscue on communication, making eye-to-eye contact and thinking the guy's ready to get the ball, and the ball gets thrown out of bounds. Silly things like that have really hurt them, and a couple offensive fouls as well. They can limit those. Good things can happen because they get more possessions, they're going to get more shots, obviously they're going to score more points.
And conversely, if you're Kansas State, quickly, what do they need to do?
Well, I think they've got to find a way to adjust to get the ball inside more, get their big fellas scoring the ball better, because Long Beach State has done an outstanding job of keeping the ball out of their hands.
It will be Long Beach State ball to begin the second half. Mike Caffey, Eric McKnight, Dave Samuels, Tyler Lamb, Michaela LaSalle out there, same 5 that started the game. Kansas State makes a change. Nino Williams gets the second period start, along with a one-do. Trey Harris also, who didn't start the game. Nigel Johnson, who did not start the game, and Thomas Gibson. And away we go. 49ers moving left to right. They're wearing the white. Kansas State in the all-purple. As Mike Caffey has it far side. Down to the near corner. LaSalle. Bullet pass down low is out of the reach of David Samuels and deflects out of bounds at the far sideline. Another turnover.
Yeah, LaSalle was a little bit quick to pull that trigger because his teammate Samuels didn't have position. I think he tried to get the ball down inside a little bit too fast so Kansas State's defense wouldn't be there.
Sometimes you run that play and you think, my goodness, I've got to make that pass. That's what I'm supposed to do. But didn't look up in time, as you mentioned, and see the open receiver waiting for it. A one-do, surveys the defense, and now moves between the circles, passes left. Into the near corner, it's Harris. Good defense. LaSalle, then a near turnover. Caffey deflects it into the backcourt, tracks it down, goes to the rim, and reverses it home.
The adjustment midair to reverse to avoid getting his shot blocked. Smart headsy play.
He is so good around the rim, Richie. I mean, outstanding. A one-do with a minute played in this period, and now a 9-point Long Beach State advantage, 35-26. Very low-scoring affair. Here's an open 3 from Johnson, way short. Tyler Lamb couldn't squeeze the rebound. However, his teammate Michaela LaSalle bails him out in the corner. And now Lamb has it in the front court. Around a Williams pick, Samuels moves to the top, pulls up for a long 2. No. Samuels, the offensive rebound. Nice job to get around a one-do and maintain possession for Long Beach State. Caffey with a spin. Good defense from behind by 23, Nigel Johnson. Finds Lamb, steps around a defender. Nice pass down low, and Samuels jams it in with 2 hands.
He did it over top the long stretched arms of Thomas Gibson.
And a gorgeous pass. I thought Lamb would take the shot, but saw the open man. Wonderful feed. 37-26. Long Beach State has come out of the halftime break certainly the way that you would want to see them, with a house of fire right now. There's a nice feed down low. Gibson, and he's able to get the reverse. Left-handed, and that's a strong hand. 37-28 Long Beach State. Just about 2.5 minutes played in this second period. Boy, 2.5 minutes flew by. Non-stop action up and down the floor. Caffey between 3 defenders. Skips it over the top and airmails the ball out of bounds. He wanted Michaela LaSalle, and he threw it about 8 feet over his head.
That's the second unforced turnovers in this half. We talked about Beach is going to have to limit those turnovers.
They are not doing that. 13 of them now in the game, and if it wasn't for Kansas State shooting 30%, who knows what this score would be right now. And also Kansas State turning it over 11 times themselves. Trey Harris, far side, tried to pass it down low to Gibson, and he couldn't handle it. That ball was thrown like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and Gibson tried to one-hand it, had no chance.
And the man who doesn't get credit for that is McKnight. He came around to front it. That's why Kansas State had to whip the ball as fast as it could to Gibson, and it was mishandled.
Tyler Lamb getting ridden on the hip by Wesley Awundu all the way up the floor. Finds Caffey on the penetration. Nice bounce feed. McKnight fouled as he tried to throw it down with the right hand. And he'll get to the free throw line for two.
Well, Caffey did what Coach Weber doesn't want his defenders to do. He allowed Caffey to get into the middle of the paint and then dump it down to McKnight. McKnight cocked that thing back like he was going to tomahawk it. Yeah, he is playing with a whole other level of confidence that you probably hadn't seen those first 3 games or at all in a Beach uniform.
No, this is the best he has played, hands down, in every aspect of the game. And it's what you expect out of a senior this final year. As he misses the first free throw, Justin Bibbins is in. Mike Caffey will head out 3 minutes into the second half. Very quick rest for him. Marcus Foster, who did start this game, and according to the stats, the fact that he's a preseason Big 12 performer, he's their best player, at least on the roster this year. Well, didn't start the second half, so in the doghouse a bit. McKnight's second, no good as well. He missed them both. Missing free throws and turnovers, those are killers.
It basically is a turnover. You miss both your free throws, it's an empty possession.
16:52 to go. Marcus Foster, guarded by LaSalle, gets in that deep crouch, tries to follow him around, picks, does. Nino Williams up top for 3. Nope, make it a long 2 as he buried it with both feet on the line. 37-30. Nino Williams contributing big time off the bench for Kansas State.
And that might be one of the reasons why we're seeing some other players get benched for Kansas State, because he's being more productive.
A near turnover. Tyler Lamb has it left side, gets into the lane, and he's fouled. And will they say in the act of shooting? I believe they will.
Kansas State fouls on
Call it on 23, Nigel Johnson, which is his second.
Let me tell you, Tyler Lamb, he's 0 for 3 in this game. And here's a guy that scored, 15, 16 a game last year, scored 17 in his lone game so far this year. But as a senior, he's finding other ways to contribute. You're not seeing any kind of pouting or anything. You're seeing him be a leader on the floor, play a lot of active defense, penetrate the basketball, and make some terrific passes.
Gets the first free throw to go after a nice bounce, and one more to come. I'd say overall, as the season progresses, they will definitely need him to score the ball. But as you said, an off night, he's still contributing. The second one, the high arcer, and it falls through. 2 big free throws, 16:23 to go, 39-30, a 9-point Long Beach State advantage. Kansas State hasn't really gotten close since they had the game tied at 10 apiece. Here's Foster up top for 3, air ball directly out of bounds. Tyler Lamb came out to challenge, and he made him miss that shot badly.
He sprinted about 7 or 8 feet towards him with his hand in the air. It had to alter the confidence of that shot.
A tremendous defense from Tyler, and really coming into this year, he was regarded as the best man-on-man defender. He and Caffey, kind of a 1-2 tandem, and he's played exceptionally well. And now bringing the ball up with consistency, which is interesting. Caffey playing off the ball, gets it now on a curl, stops on a dime, looks to the left, feeds McKnight at the top. Further to the left, it goes to Tyler Lamb, 30 feet from the basket, swings around to Samuels. David dumps it down low. Nice move in the paint. McKnight's hook misses. He tried to use the left hand, spinning over the right shoulder. There's a steal. Nice job by Samuels. And then he gets around Williams and lays it through. That was the Euro step.
The Euro step has come to Long Beach, California.
Best I have seen David Samuels play in his 1.5 years now at Long Beach State. Hands down. It's not even close. Marcus Foster saves the ball from going out of bounds in the deep corner. Now Johnson at the top. Moves to the left. Samuels comes over to help, and a little too aggressive. He fouls him on the body, a non-shooting foul. Kansas State ball when we return. 15 minutes, 19 seconds to go at the Walter Pyramid. 41-30, Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State on KBeach Radio. Rob Renner alongside Richie Schuler with 15 minutes and 19 seconds to go in our ball game. 41-30, Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. One of the things we talked about right out of the half, Richie, was the fact that you want to see Long Beach State come out with some confidence, play well right away. Don't let Kansas State feel like they have a chance to catch up, and that's exactly what Long Beach has done.
They've done it with 3 of 5 shooting and some more good defense. They forced Kansas State into 2 missed 3-point shots. They've capitalized on the other end, and they haven't backed down. Both teams are going to have to, they've already changed their game plan just a little bit. They're both trying to find a little bit more of a rhythm. Kansas State looks lost. They don't look like they have much of an identity with Gibson struggling inside.
Long Beach State gets Jack Williams back into their lineup. 15-19 to go. It's Kansas State ball. The shot clock at a full 35 seconds as they inbound in the forecourt and now set things up. Nigel Johnson and a 1-do. Long Beach State is playing a 2-3 zone now. We've seen 3-2, we've seen 2-3, we've seen man-to-man. Gibson has it low left, backs in, kicks it out. Foster with a left wing 3. It's short. Rebound out of bounds. And who's it off of? It's off Kansas State.
Tell you, McKnight is causing a lot of problems for Kansas State offensively because he's there to get rebounds. He's there to challenge the rebounders. Without his length in there, Kansas State has a lot more offensive rebounds.
Might have seen it on that last possession, too, with Gibson catching it deep. Had good position and just didn't take advantage.
Right.
Williams has it beyond the arc, and now Caffey at the top. Swings the ball through, drives left, shot blocked away and out of bounds. There's big Thomas Gibson filling the lane for the rejection.
Surprises me, but that's the first block for Kansas State. All the size they have.
You know, they're an interesting team, though, in terms of that size, Richie. They're so big and bulky, but they're not quick-looking or athletic-looking, per se.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Texas out there, or even Kansas, as Jack Williams has some trouble, able to feed it over the top back outside to Caffey. 9 to shoot. He's going to have to get going with 14 and a half to play in the period. Caffey puts it on the deck to the right elbow, lost the ball, and taken away by Marcus Foster. And Dan Munson, the head coach, slaps the scorer's table in disgust. Here's a 1-do across the lane, but he missed the layup. He was at the rim, and it didn't go. Caffey in transition. Bowls over a defender, lost the ball. Tyler Lamb dives for it. Caffey tries to pick it up, and it's out of bounds off of Kansas State.
Just typical early season play, sloppy. And Mike Caffey, that was an unforced turnover. He was trying to rush it a little bit too much with the shot clock winding down. Dodged a bullet that Kansas State missed the layup on the other end, but almost another near turnover just a second ago.
Yeah, instead of calling it out of bounds, by the way, they called a foul on Nino Williams for Kansas State. That's the third on the Wildcats in the period. Temadiah Youssef, who played very sparingly in the first period, picked up 2 extremely quick fouls. We'll check in for the first time here in the second half. Harris comes back in for Kansas State. That's Malik Harris. We've seen a lot of Trey Harris today as well. And they might mop up some moisture on the floor. See Bruce Weber up off the Kansas State bench. He spends the majority of the game walking around, pacing back and forth, and now he's barking to his team. They're still mopping up that moisture. Mike Caffey and Nigel Johnson trying to point out where it is to the ball girl. And away we go. Caffey gets the inbound. The shot clock is reset. Michaela Sal pump fakes on a 3. Now lobs it into the block. Now Williams outside, back into the block. Youssef with great position. Gibson defending behind him. It doesn't matter. He gets the banker to go over the top of the big fella.
And that's an organized set. Let Youssef post up, kick it back out, reset, give it right back to him, and he's a little bit closer to the basket.
Youssef's first bucket of the game. 2 points for him. And Long Beach State ahead 13. That matches their biggest advantage. 43-30. Nice crossover dribble. Pass outside. Johnson for 3. Clanked it off the back of the rim, but an uncontested rebound. Edwards missed the initial layup, but got it back and scored. Nobody around it.
As good a job as Long Beach State's doing defensively, they still have given up 13, now 14 offensive rebounds.
And they lead it by 11, 43-32. Youssef and Jack Williams play pitch and catch away from the rim. That's not where you want to see that. We'll get a holding foul away from the ball. This one on Gibson. That is his second. They actually put the points up on the board now for Edwards. I was looking at that 2 flashing. I thought that was the foul. It is the second on Gibson, and now they get that up there. The 4th on Kansas State. Of course, you have all these new scoreboards here and video boards. It's hard to keep track of what's what, I'm sure, even for the folks who are using it regularly. And an illegal screen on Long Beach State. That's Jack Williams. He doesn't believe it. Tried to set a pick for Michaela Sau.
And it's another unforced turnover. I've said that a lot. And you have, when you play freshmen, you're going to have to deal with some of that stuff. And you deal with a lot of that stuff early, then they start catching on, then they start to oftentimes hit a roadblock towards the end of season.
The one thing they can hold their hats on right now is that the defense, for the most part, has been very solid. And that's the reason that they're up double figures. Foster breaks down the D, dribbles into the paint, kicks it to Edwards in the corner, passes up on a 3, finds Harris, spins to the middle, missed the shot, but a foul.
Well, Michaela Sau came to double team, but he didn't use his body well enough, didn't have his hands in the air. Instead, he swatted at the ball. And he didn't really close that gap. Usually when you trap, you want you and your teammate to be shoulder to shoulder. And he let the big fella, Harris, split the gap and got a piece of his arm on the way up.
So Malik Harris to the free throw line to shoot 2. A foul on LaSalle was his first. First free throw is straight through. Branford Jones, Deontay North return for Long Beach State. LaSalle and Tyler Lamb will head out. So Yusuf, Williams, Jones, North, and Caffey. First time that we have seen this lineup configuration tonight. And one more free throw for Harris, shooting toward the north end zone, the student section, and he's able to convert on both. 43-34, 4 consecutive points for the Wildcats. They'll pick up full court. No problem for Long Beach State. Into the front court they go. Caffey down the lane. Shot blocked from behind, but a foul. The official on the far side says contact to the head. Malik Harris.
The great play with this was that Kansas State was pressuring full court, and Long Beach got it across half court, almost all the way to the corner. But Caffey and Williams both streaked down the paint. So the ball was being passed from the corner. Kansas State's dead stopped, but you got those 2 guys sprinting down the lane still for an easy 2. And when you play that kind of aggressive style, playing 94 feet at that speed, doesn't matter how athletic you are, that's difficult to stop.
Caffey made the first. He's 2 out of 3 at the line today. The second is up and also perfect. Mike will get a break. The under 12-minute media timeout shouldn't be that far away. 12:36 to go. So Dan Munson again trying to get him those regular breaks, something that he couldn't do much of last year because he didn't have Bibbins on the bench. So he makes a huge difference, does Justin, having that true backup point guard. Marcus Foster rolls right, gets to the basket, throws it up, missed it badly, got it back, double clutches, and lays it through. That's what Marcus Foster can do.
That's really impressive.
And a foul on Kansas State prior to the ball being inbounded. It will be on Thomas, Javon Thomas. That is his second and the 6th team foul on the Wildcats. Wow. The next one, and they're already over the foul limit. So Long Beach State's going to shoot a lot of free throws in this game, or at least they should. Branford Jones gets the inbound, and Kansas State backs off with 12-12, and the clock running. We reach kind of that crunch time, the midway portion of the second half. Jack Williams will pull up for 3. It's too strong. Very quick shot from the freshman. And here comes Kansas State down by 9. Edwards, left wing, wide open for 3. Missed it badly. Hurt the rebound, and an offensive foul. Jack Williams took the charge, so he makes the mistake of the bad shot and then atones for the error right away, taking that charge. And we get the under 12-minute media timeout. 11:50 to go with the Pyramid. 45-36, Long Beach State on KBeach Radio. Rob Renner and Richie Schuler at the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach. 11:50 to play in our game. 45-36. The 49ers maintaining a rather substantial lead of 9 points against Kansas State. State. And Richie, one of the things that we talked about a little bit during the break right now, Tyler Lamb, just those 2 points, but doing a wonderful job of feeding the freshmen, getting the freshmen involved, as is the rest of this team, keeping them on the floor and getting involved in the game.
He's been a leader, and he's contributed in a lot of ways that don't show up in the stat sheet. Number 1 being his defense and length.
It's Long Beach State basketball. No problems getting across midcourt. Deontay North will reset to Caffey. Get the return pass. Now Branford Jones in the near corner. Feeds the block. David Samuels turns to face. Guarded by Harris. Moves to the middle. Floats it up with the left hand. Missed it badly. An offensive rebound from Yusuf. And a foul. And I think it's Temadayo. Nope. Instead, it's Dave Samuels. You can't believe it, but that is number 4 on David. And team foul number 4 on the 49ers. For now, Samuels will stay in. I didn't see that last foul, Richie. I don't know if you had a better look at it.
They were calling over the back off the rebound.
Here's Hurt. He'll try a 3. No, not even close. And that is just not a good shot if you're Kansas State. However, Long Beach can't squeeze the rebound. Branford Jones has to go out of bounds off his hand. David Samuels will now go out. Jack Williams is back in. Such a shame that he's in the foul trouble, David, because he's been playing so well today. 10 points, 7 rebounds. Off the inbound pass. Foster, left elbow extended for 2. No. Rebound by Caffey. Skied around the bigs to squeeze it. Long Beach wanted to push. They'll slow it down now, run the offense. Here's North for 3. Got it. Deontay North from downtown.
I tell you, that kid is a gamer. He's probably the most talented freshman on this roster. He is not afraid of the big shot in a big moment.
And what a huge shot that was. The lead back to 12 and a steal for Branford. However, they'll say he reached in. Jones doesn't think so, and now looks at the official and says, hey, I'm sorry, not trying to complain too much. Don't want to show you up. A 1-2 back for Kansas State. Gibson back, Harris back, and also Javon Thomas. So several new players on the floor for Bruce Weber's team. 10:43 with the clock running. Here's a 1-2 at the top, all the way down Broadway for 2. The C's parted.
And Coach Weber's trying to find some sort of lineup that's going to get this team competing and back into single digits.
It's a 10-point game for now. With 10:24 left. Here's North up top. Puts it on the deck. Now nice crossover. Around a 1-2. What a scoop up, but he missed it. Wheeled that ball around and couldn't get the finish to go. Kansas State on the glass, and now they can get it into single digits. A 1-2 is being guarded by North. This is the weakness in Deontay's game, or so they said, but he gets a steal. North has a 3-on-2 if he hurries. Lobs it down low to Jack Williams. Nice catch, but he missed the shot. Gets it back, muscles it up, misses again, gets it back again, and misses yet again. Oh my goodness, 3 shots at the basket for Williams, but he can't convert. They'll push the other way. Gibson turns, caught underneath, fights it up, and draws a foul. Foul on Deontay North.
Right now, Beach has 3 freshmen in the lineup. A couple moments ago, they had 4 freshmen in the lineup. All 4 of their freshmen, but they've done a pretty good job of weathering the storm. And it's got to be some scary times for Coach Munson to put some inexperienced players in there. But we have Deontay North making big shots. That certainly helps, but you still see some freshman mistakes with carelessness with the basketball.
For now, a 10-point game, but you have Gibson at the free throw line to shoot 2. A very good free throw shooter, and he gets the first one to go. Your leading scorers thus far, Caffey has 10, Samuels with 10 for Long Beach State. Kansas State still nobody in double figures. 8 for Harris, that's Trey Harris, 8 for Gibson, and 8 for Williams. Second is good as well.
Game certainly is a defensive battle, 48-40. However, I say that, and Long Beach State's shooting over 50%, so maybe just a low possession game.
This is so far and away better defensively. The effort that Long Beach State has given than the first 3 games, I can't even tell you. I mean, it's so completely different, a complete reversal. Mike Caffey will back it out to midcourt, calls out a play with 15 on the shot clock. As Harris guarding him, steps into a 3, got it! And he now is in 10th place all time for Long Beach State in made threes. That's That's what a senior does.
And he did it with ice in his veins.
Harris will try to answer for three. Misses it to the left. Yusuf had the rebound, lost it, and a reach-in foul on Kansas State. They'll get this foul on Malik Harris after Trey Harris missed the three.
The great thing about Beach is that they're capitalizing. It's not like when they make a big shot, they're making a ton of mistakes on the other end because they're so excited. Even though this team has an 11-point lead, you still see them playing, not like they're surprised that they're winning. They're playing like a winning program. Like they're used to this. Like this isn't something new. And I'm so excited to see the future of this program because you see the freshmen being the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing like this is expected. Like this is what we do here. 49er basketball is winning big games.
It is the best class of freshmen overall that they have had in this program, certainly since I've been here in 6 years. And according to a lot of the old-timers, they say in many, many years. As Yusuf is at the free throw line to shoot the 1-and-1. That last foul, the Wildcats was their 8th, and he converts on the first. I mean, you really have to go back to the team of 6 or 7 years ago, Casper Ware, Larry Anderson, T.J. Robinson, Eugene Phelps, that group of 4 freshmen, to find one that's better than this potentially or equally as good. As Yusuf clanks the second, 1 out of 2, and it's 52-40 as Kansas State brings it up right to left. But you're right, an excellent group of young players. A 1-2 rolls right, throws into the corner. It's Trey Harris, bounces to Nino Williams, moves right of the circle, and gets fouled on the runner. Boy, that's a bailout foul called on Jack Williams.
It's tough because Jack Williams was guarding the baseline with both hands up in the air. The official called a foul on the arm. His hands were straight up in the air, and Coach Munson's letting him hear it.
As he should. Boy, very ticky-tack as Nino Williams misses the front of 2 free throws. Eric McKnight returns for Long Beach State. Nigel Johnson hustles in for Kansas State. Now it's McKnight, North, Caffey, Williams, and Jones, the 5 out there for Dan Munson's team. And one more free throw from Nino Williams, which he converts. 52-41, 8:43 to go, and the full court pressure for Kansas State. Long Beach has generally had very little problem with this, and they have no problem again. Ranford Jones and Mike Caffey out there, you always feel good against pressure. Great ball handlers. Here's Caffey with another 3. This one's too strong, NBA range. And here comes Kansas State into the forecourt. Thomas, he has done very little today. Thomas came in averaging 7 assists the first 2 games. As it left wing, slips a little bit on his drive, kicks it out. Nino Williams with a deep 2. No. Offensive rebound for Thomas. Shot clock resets. And we go under 8 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Kansas State taking their time. Long Beach is playing man-to-man for now. Gibson head of the circle. Dishes left. Thomas puts it on the deck into the lane. Had it stripped. Gets it back. And a reach-in foul. Is it on Caffey or is it on Jones? And Caffey better be careful. Yelling at the officials again. It is on Branford Jones. The 49ers are over the foul limit. The 1-and-1 coming up for Kansas State when we return. 7:55 to go at the Pyramid. 52-41 Long Beach State. Back after this on KBeach Radio. 7:55 to go at the Walter Pyramid. Long Beach State ahead 52-41 for the game. 49ers now shooting 47% on 18 out of 38. They've made 5 of 11 from downtown. Missed 7 free throws, however. 11 of 18 for Kansas State. 29% shooting. 14 for 48. 3 out of 18 from 3. They have been good at the free throw line, 10 out of 13, as Javon Thomas will step to the line again. But quickly while he shoots these free throws, Richie, what stands out to you the most as you look at the stat sheet?
3 of 18 for Kansas State from 3. And the fact that they're 3 of 18 from 3, but yet they've scored 13 points off Long Beach's 15 turnovers. So, you might think that they would look to try to attack the basket a little bit more, trying to get points by free throws and also some points or some shots around the basket. Big fella's only got 3 shots, and he averages 19 points a game.
1 out of 2 at the free throw line for Kansas State. Long Beach gets the ball back ahead 10. 52-42. You're right. 3 shots for Thomas Gibson in this game. It's not completely his fault, although he has passed the ball out of pretty good scoring opportunities. Deontay North, far beyond the three-point arc at the left wing, moves to the top, double team momentarily to Branford Jones with 13 to shoot. Branford on the drive, down the lane, scoop layup, no. Ball tipped by Williams, misses, but an offensive rebound for Long Beach State, and they can now reset the shot clock. And Mike Caffey will slow the tempo. Timeout for the officials. And again, I think it's a clock issue this time.
Something about the shot clock, I believe.
And I think they got it right. That ball definitely from Williams when he tipped it hit the bottom of the rim.
Yeah.
That was the question, was should the shot clock have reset? And now as they confirm back and forth, they get it right. So 28 on the shot clock. 7:18 to go in the game. Caffey to North on a curl. Into the paint and a blocking foul. Another good aggressive take.
A blocking foul because Kansas State's defender had his feet on that restricted arc. The rule is if your feet are touching that restricted arc or you're inside that restricted arc as a defender, that's going to be a blocking foul all day. They've got to be outside that to be a player control foul.
As North steps to the charity stripe and calmly and coolly connects on the first. That last foul was on Nino Williams. It's the 9th on the Wildcats. So the next one, and the 49ers get into the double bonus the rest of the way. With 7:14 left. North's second misses. 1 out of 2. Jack Williams felt like he was held as he went for the rebound. Instead, Kansas State gets it. 11-point 49er advantage. A 1-2 at the top. Man-to-man defense for Long Beach State. Behind a pick, Javon Thomas pulls up with a deep 2 and connects.
2 dribbles inside the three-pointer.
It's really the first long-distance 17, 18-footer that we've seen Kansas State connect easily. Here's Williams, coast to coast, missed the layup, and a foul on Kansas State. Thomas Gibson can't believe it. And again, that's a situation where, as you pointed out a few moments ago, he's in that restricted area underneath the hoop.
Same thing. I mean, Jack Williams fell hard. And Gibson's like, well, where's the foul at? Well, he created contact when he had his foot inside that restricted arc. The reason they put that into play a few years back was for the safety of the players. Too many guys were just camping out defensively underneath the basket. Players were coming down, hurting their ankles and falling down hard, hitting their head and whatnot. The restricted arc is there for a reason.
Yeah, can't undercut that offensive player. As you said, very dangerous. Williams makes the first free throw. 1 more to come. It's up and good. So the double-digit lead, and they've been around that number most of this game. Right now it's 11, 55, 44, 6:38 with the clock running here at the Pyramid. Caffey out to defend, again in the man-to-man on Thomas. Picks up the dribble, dishes left. It's Nigel Johnson, guarded by Branford Jones. Puts it on the deck, couple of dribbles hard, handoff Williams. Up top it goes. Thomas steps into the circle for 2, connects again.
I tell you, Long Beach's defense did a really good job of not letting them inside the paint that entire possession.
Here's Branford quickly into this way. Pulls up for 2. Gets it to rattle home. And a timeout for the 49ers. With 6:08 to go, they look so ultra confident. We're going to take this timeout with them. 6 minutes, 8 seconds left at the Pyramid. 57-46. Long Beach ahead of Kansas State. Looking for the upset tonight at the Pyramid. We're back after this on KBH Radio. Welcome back inside the Walter Pyramid. 4,256 of our best friends are here with us. Why aren't you? 57-46, Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. 6:08 to go. The 49ers looking for their 3rd victory all time against the Wildcats, and their first since Dan Munson became the head coach of this program 8 years ago. And again, looking for redemption tonight after losing to Kansas State twice last year. Obviously, that's something that would sting. I don't care who beats you. If they beat you twice, it really is going to bother you.
Oh, absolutely. And you got a lot of seniors here that played in both those games as juniors. juniors last season. So I'm sure, like you said earlier, having played those two teams, this team twice last season, it's almost like another extra scouting report, live scouting report. It's almost like it's a conference opponent.
While we have a quick moment, want to remind you our next broadcast is this upcoming Sunday. 2 days from now, Long Beach State and UCLA at Pauley Pavilion, a 7 p.m. local time tip. We're on the air 6:30 with the pregame show here on KBH Radio. 6 minutes exactly remaining. 57-46, backdoor lob and a 1-2. Dunks it through with two hands. The assist for Javon Thomas.
Well drawn up play because Kansas State tried to make it look like it was a cross screen, down screen action where the guard would get the ball back at the top of the key. Backdoor alley-oop cutter.
And a 1-2 with the finish. Jack Williams, trouble getting the ball in. Lobs it over the top. Gathered in half court by Deontay North. Finds Caffey. And that's again what a senior does. Smartly slow the pace down. Don't rush. Exactly what Kansas State wants you to do. Pick up your tempo right now. It's McKnight at the top. Hands off to Caffey. Dribbled it off his leg. Recovers. Still 17 on the shot clock. Then he falls down and loses it out of bounds. Caffey a little slow to get up and limping a little bit, but he's okay. Dave Samuels will come in. Remember, he has 4 fouls. 5:32 to go. Jack Williams departs.
I've been really watching the coaching staff for Long Beach, and when there's mistakes like that, you know, it's a careless turnover by Caffey. He slipped and the ball went out of bounds. They don't panic. They don't yell. They don't insult them. They don't try to get them corrected. They just calmly let it go, and I think that adds to the confidence of Long Beach's players. They can play through these mistakes. They'll deal with those in practice.
The 16th turnover, by the way, on the 49ers today. They lead by 9. 5:25 left. Johnson might have gotten away with a double dribble. Officials say the ball was tipped. Here's Thomas at the left wing. Puts it on the deck. Crossover. Missed the floater. And the rebound, Long Beach State. That was a nice move, but he just couldn't finish. And Long Beach again will try to work some clock here as we near 5 minutes to go. Caffey, near angle to the hoop. Picks up the rock. They've got McKnight playing away from the ball right now, trying to get open underneath. Caffey sees him, doesn't pass him the ball, however. Gibson defending behind him. 10 on the shot clock. Caffey works himself to the center court logo, to the top of the key. 7 to shoot. Pulls up with a deep 3. No, it's short. Out of bounds. Who's it off of? Kansas State. It's off of Gibson's shoulder. A big break.
It's a critical time in the game, and it's a critical moment for this young season because here you are with a 9-point lead with about 4.5 to play. Are they going to hold on to this lead, something they've had for the entire duration of the game?
The shot clock resets to a full 35 as Caffey handles the basketball again. He wanted it in his hands as much as he can. They swing it to Deontay North with the hard dribble right. Pull-up jumper is deflected. Loose on the ground. Kansas State had it, lost it, but rescued from going out of bounds by Thomas. Nice play. Outlet pass into the forecourt. Foster and a foul. Held up by Branford Jones, and that's the 9th on the 49ers, the 1-1 for Marcus Foster.
For all the good things Deontay North does, it may be a bit of a rush shot there in traffic with about 20 seconds on the shot clock. Up 9 points with all this time. Maybe use a little more clock. You get a better shot than that throughout the course of the shot clock. It's something that they'll learn and talk about in video next practice.
No question. Tyler Lamb is in. Branford Jones to the bench. Interesting that Long Beach State keeps their 2 wings, North and Lamb, on the floor now at the same time as the front end of the 1-and-1 is up and gets a nice bounce. Falls through for Foster. And now you got an 8-point game. Chance to make it 7 with 4:17 to go. Marcus Foster has just 3 points today, looking for his 4th right here. It's up and good. 1 for 10 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3 for Marcus Foster. That's very unusual. 57-50. Long Beach State up 7. 4:10 to go. Can this relatively young team keep it together down the stretch? Tyler Lamb with a nice ball fake. Does not look to shoot. Skips it over the top to Caffey in front of us. To the baseline. Shovels it underneath. McKnight lost the ball. It's on the ground and out of bounds off Long Beach. And we get the final media timeout. Turnover number 17. Wow, the most inopportune time. 57-50 Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. 3:55 left at the Pyramid on K-Beach Radio. 3:55 to go, and Long Beach State ahead 57-50 on Kansas State. Branford Jones, Mike Caffey, Dave Samuels, Tyler Lamb, and Eric McKnight for the 49ers. Nino Williams, Foster, Owundu, Gibson, and Thomas, the five out there for Kansas State. And Richie, crunch time, and the 49ers going with more of their veterans now.
4 seniors and a redshirt sophomore, so you're certainly going with guys with lots of experience trying to close this game out.
Marcus Foster has it in front of his bench. Moves to the right. Double teamed around a pick. Skips it into the corner. Ball fake by Thomas. Does not take the 3. Good closeout by Caffey. Dribbles to the top with it. Feeds Foster again. Moves to the free throw line. Good defense from the 49ers. 14 seconds to shoot. 3.5 to go in the game. Foster with a deep 3. No. Missed it. Offensive rebound and the layup good from Owundu. So they defended well for the full shot clock, but Owundu burns them on the glass. 57-52. We've got a barn burner with 3:13 to go. Caffey and Samuels. Samuels right side, it's Branford Jones. Between the circles, back to Caffey on a handoff. 3 minutes to go. Kansas State in the man-to-man. It's Caffey near wing. Clenches the leather together. Looks to Jones, up top for 3. Too strong. Gibson on the glass. And here comes Kansas State. They will push. Thomas, guarded by Caffey, gets around him, but the shot is blocked and out of bounds. And it's off Kansas State. Great defense, Mike Caffey.
2 guys in help position. And Caffey was right there. It's important now for Long Beach to still show urgency, but don't panic in this situation. They still have a 5-point lead, and they're in control of this ball game. Taking good shots on the other end of the floor will be huge to closing out this game.
Full court pressure from Kansas State, broken by the 49ers, but they force a pass underneath. Caffey got the shot away somehow as he was knocked out of bounds. He missed it, but he's fouled. And free throws for Mike Caffey. Boy, for a moment, I thought Branford Jones was making a big mistake trying to get it to him that quickly.
Yeah, and put Caffey in a position to get the shot up, but he got undercut and landed on his backside pretty hard.
Third foul on Javon Thomas for Kansas State, as Caffey's first of 2 is short. Wow.
I think that landing, I think his rear end kind of hurts, to be honest with you. That tailbone, I think he landed on, might have bruised it.
And this is a big one to make it a 6-point lead. They're all big now. No good. He adjusted and missed it long this time. Boy, you just can't miss so many free throws. Long Beach State has missed 10 of them in this game. 14 for 24. Still 57-52. Foster up top, Williams on the drive. Fell to the ground and a foul. Foul on Long Beach State. It's on Eric McKnight.
Said his feet got caught up. Sometimes I feel like officials might feel like they have to make a call because contact was made, but I'm not sure what one can do with his feet when it's planted.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I thought Williams was a little bit out of control, and McKnight was in pretty good position. So, as is, that's the 10th foul on Long Beach State. Into the double bonus goes Kansas State. Nino Williams at the free throw line. The first one up, good. Nino, coming into this game, was not really considered a big-time scorer for this team. In fact, he hadn't played 1 minute, not 1 minute of action in their first 2 games this year. But active today and making a difference. Second free throw. No, it rolled off the front of the rim. Rebounded by the 49ers. They maintain a 2-possession lead. The official gets in the way. The ball's on the ground, and Kansas State gets it back. They shovel it underneath. Layup blocked away. Foster rejected. Lamb has it at midcourt. He's got a 3-on-2 down the lane. Layup good. And a foul. What a sequence. What a sequence.
It's very unfortunate that the official got in the way of Tyler Lamb. He was about to get trapped on the sideline. He pulled the ball back. It's called a retreat dribble. Back up a couple steps, then explode forward, trying to get away from the trap or try to pass out of it. Got tripped up by the referee, but that's fair game. I mean, the referee, if he touches the ball, it's fair game. It's just inadvertent. But the good thing about what Long Beach does is they don't give up. They still played hard defense. They got a block, and they went on the other end to convert.
Lamb at the line completes the three-point play. By the way, you mentioned the block. How about Eric McKnight? To recover like that hard of a rejection, and that's what allowed the 49ers to come back quickly and score. He gets another block here, but a foul is called. He rejected Foster on his way to the basket. Looked clean from here. The officials don't agree. That is number 3 on Eric McKnight, who's played so well today. 8 points, 3 rebounds, a couple blocks, and an assist. Marcus Foster at the line, 60-53 Long Beach State with $1:52 to go. Huge free throws for Foster, who's 2 out of 2 at the charity stripe so far. Make it 3 out of 3.
You might have found yourself a shot blocker for the season. Caffey, Samuels getting his hands on a lot of them as well. Tyler Lamb had one earlier. This is a team that picks and chooses the right opportunities to block shots. I don't think they overdo it, but they're successful when they do most of the time.
Foster second. No, missed it. Rebound Dave Samuels for the 49ers. That's a huge miss. Still a 6-point lead. Caffey into the front court. All the way to the paint. Tough pass gathered in by Samuels. Goes hard to the rim. Missed his shot. However, Kansas State can't get the rebound. They lose it out of bounds.
We're going to need some senior leadership. A minute and a half to go. You're up 6. Let's wait for the great shot and not force anything silly.
And right now, don't you want to kill a little bit more clock than that?
Kill a little more time and just take great shots. I think maybe we got a little too happy there and might have forced a shot going to the basket, and you could have pulled it out and probably got a much better one.
Now, you love the aggressiveness to a certain extent, but I agree with you all the way. And it's not the right time for it. Still 21 on the shot clock as Lamb will inbound baseline right. And able to throw it to Dave Samuels. Hands off into the breadbasket of Caffey. 18 to shoot. Lamb on a curl to the lane. Nice pass to McKnight. And he's hammered. Absolutely hammered by Nito Williams.
That's the second time that we've seen McKnight catch the ball in the left block, drop step, and go hard. Earlier, it was going to be a tomahawk jam in the beginning of the second half. This time, he was going up with 2 hands, and he was going to dunk hard, and he got hit pretty heavy in the chest.
Now the question is, can he convert at the charity stripe? 0 for 2 today. First one up. No, too strong. This is the big one. You want to make it a 3-possession lead. Still a minute 29. There's a ton of time left. In the college game, a minute and 29 can take 30 minutes. In terms of real time, of course.
Of course.
Yes. So McKnight, 1 more to go. It's up. No, missed it again. Dave Samuels tipped it, couldn't gather it in. Kansas State gets the rebound. So 2 big misses yet again. Now 15 out of 27 at the line. Mike Caffey trying to encourage the crowd to make some noise, and they respond. Many of them stand. Thomas, left wing it goes. Good defense, Branford Jones on Foster. Muscles the ball underneath, and a foul. The foul prior to the shot. They're going to get Eric McKnight. Fouling Gibson from behind, and that's number 4 on Eric.
Well, now you have Eric McKnight with 4. You've got Samuels with 4. So you're 2 starting post players with 4 fouls. So if one of those goes out, you're going to have to bring in the freshman Jack Williams. Being aggressive, but maybe just a little bit too aggressive. And if this game were to go into overtime, Long Beach State would have a lot of trouble with big fella inside without those guys in the game.
No question about that. Here's Gibson at the charity stripe. Squeezes the orange between his palms. Now launches and got a roll. Front of the rim, backboard and through. Deontay North will come in, a much better free throw shooter. Eric McKnight will go out. This is your get the free throw shooter in the game type substitution. McKnight 0 for 4 shooting charity stripers today. One more free throw here for the senior, Thomas Gibson. Left-hander with 2 dribbles, puts it up, And makes it yet again. 2 for 2 on that trip. Timeout Kansas State with $1:09 to go. 109, 60 to 56. Well, chance for us to take a deep breath. Again, Rob Renner, Richie Schuler with you at the Walter Pyramid. So, with 1:09 to go, Richie, right now, if you're Long Beach State, I assume, and I think you probably do as well, that Kansas State's going to go with some full court pressure.
They have to. They have to pick up the pressure. They've got to see if they can force Long Beach State into some turnovers. And Long Beach State has thrown more than their fair share today, so that pressure may bother them. But good thing about it for Long Beach State, they have a veteran crowd in the game. And it's just a matter of making some shots here down the stretch, and especially free throws. If this becomes a free throw game, Long Beach State's going to have to convert on some of these foul shots. But as of right now, they're 15 of 27 for 56%.
Now, here's the question I have for you. If you're Kansas State with 1:09 to go, do you foul on this possession?
I wouldn't foul on this possession. I would try to play good, strong, full-court defense, try to convert that into the half court. Hey, Long Beach State has not been waiting for the shot clock to go all the way down. They've been somewhat impatient because they're still in that attacking mindset. And if they continue doing that, and if they miss a couple shots here down the stretch, Kansas State has a chance to tie or take the lead.
Caffey, Lamb, Jones, North, and Samuels for Long Beach State. Kansas State, of course, does show full court pressure. It's Caffey who will guard the inbound. He can run the baseline after those two made free throws from Gibson. Harris is going to guard the inbounder. That's the taller of the two Harrises, Malik. He's listed at 6'8", very long arms. Caffey at 6'1". Throws to Deontay North, not inbounds yet. North does get it inbound. That's a nice design play. And then a reach-in foul. So Kansas State does give the foul immediately with 1:05 to go. It's on Malik Harris. And it's up to the freshman Deontay North.
Well, he's shooting 78 on the season coming into this game. He is a good free throw shooter, but if I'm Kansas State, I'm trying to foul the freshman in a big game like this as well.
8 out of 11 for the year for Deontay now. After 1 for 2 so far today. The first one here is good. Smooth.
He has a great touch on his shot.
Does.
And here's a guy that scored 16 in his first collegiate game at BYU as a freshman.
Yeah, he was tremendous that day. A little quiet offensively since, but certainly contributing heavily tonight. Trey Harris is back in for Kansas State. A 1-2 goes out. And one more free throw for Deontay North. Spins the ball into his right palm. Launches. Connects. Cool, calm, and collected.
I'll tell you, the disposition of this Long Beach team is impressive. I mean, it's like they know how to win. And these freshmen know how to win. And you're talking about 4 freshmen, as you know, all played in the state championship game.
Yes.
Bunch of winners on this team.
3 out of 4 of them winning a championship. As we go under a minute to play, a 6-point Long Beach State lead. Up top, it's Foster. Tried to step back, couldn't take the 3. Feeds the block. Gibson spins middle. Shot on the way. Good. He got a couple of bounces off the iron, and it went through. And a timeout for Kansas State with 48.5 seconds to go. 48.5. Deontay North will come back in for his free throw shooting prowess. McKnight will go out. Just to reset things, possession arrow, if we get a jump ball at any point, favors Long Beach State. That timeout for Kansas State leaves them with 2. Long Beach State has 3 remaining, and both teams are in the double bonus with 48.5 seconds left. 62-58 Long Beach, and this is the kind of finish, Richie, that you had to expect. A tight one.
And I think what we're going to see here is a little bit of a difficult situation for Long Beach. Eric McKnight has 4 fouls. He knows how valuable he is to this team's success, especially on the defensive end. He got caught behind Gibson. It's been rare that that's happened all game long. Gibson got the ball 3 feet from the basket in the middle of the paint, and he got caught behind. So look for Kansas State to continue dumping the ball down inside. But Coach Mutz and his staff, they've got to convince Eric McKnight, you still got to fight around, not worry about that 5th foul. Now, it looks like right now they've taken him out for defensive purposes, but if he comes back in for defense, that's going to be an issue.
Deontay North is going to get the inbounding job this time. And again, Malik Harris back into the game for Kansas State to guard the inbounder. For now, North has nobody to pass to, and he's forced to call a timeout. And that's okay. Still had 3, and now left with 2. And with 48.5 seconds to go, you have no problem with that. It looks like Michaela Sal is going to check in, and I wonder if it's Deontay North who's going to go out. Curious what they do here with the substitution, as LaSalle ran to the scorer's table. Maybe David Samuels that goes out, so they get very small. And again, all the good free throw shooters out there for Dan Munson.
Well, that's okay if they go small, because they're going to get fouled once the ball's inbound. We saw that a moment ago. You wonder if they're going to do it again. They're only down 4 with 48 seconds, but they did it last possession. And you get your small guys in there, but you also get your guys in there that have some senior leadership. And coming out of this timeout, because Kansas State did such a good job of defending it last time, before the timeout, forcing the timeout, probably going to see some sort of set here with a multiple amount of screens.
And I'm a little surprised they're allowing the freshman to throw it in. There's a lot of confidence in him. And now you got Tyler Lamb and Caffey both in the backcourt joining him. Branford Jones is about 3/4 of the way up toward the midcourt stripe. North throws in. This time he gets it in with no trouble to Tyler Lamb. The double team runs at him. And now into the forecourt they come on a nice outlet pass to Caffey. So they did the job they had to, and Tyler Lamb gets fouled. Thomas reaches in and gives his 4th. And now instead of the freshman at the line, it's the senior Tyler Lamb.
Now, Tyler Lamb between last game and this game is a perfect 7 of 7 on the season. So if there's anybody to foul, get Lamb at the stripe.
With 39.5 seconds to go. So not only did they get what they wanted, got fouled, the senior at the line, but they also killed a decent amount of clock on that last possession, about 9 seconds. And here is Lamb for the first of 2. Good. Never touched the rim.
He is money from the nail.
Dave Samuels in, Michaela Sal out, Nino Williams, Gibson, and Trey Harris return for Kansas State. So there are those switches, offense for defense and vice versa for the other team.
Looks like McKnight's going to stay on the bench.
Lamb missed the second. Wow. 63-58. Still a 2-possession game. 35 seconds to go. Kansas State breaks the timeline. All the way to the bucket goes Thomas. Missed the layup. It rolled off the rim. Rebound Branford Jones and a foul. What a break.
Coach Bruce Weber is begging for the goaltending call. Gibson came up, set a flat screen, just a back screen with his back to the basket for the point guard. Point guard went all the way to the rim, just rimmed around, but he thought one of the Long Beach players touched it while it was rolling around.
26.7 seconds to go, and now you have Branford Jones shooting free throws. His first attempts of the game. On the season, Branford 1 for 4, so he struggled. This one, good. That makes it a 6-point lead. This one would make it a 3-possession game with 26.7 to go. It's up. Got it again. Big free throws, and now Kansas State really going to have to hurry. Caffey surrounds Thomas. Tonino Williams in for an uncontested layup. They backed away, let him get the deuce, and a timeout for Kansas State with 18.7 seconds left. 65-60. And now, as we've said a couple of times, if you can convert on your free throws, there is no reason why you should lose this game.
It becomes a 15-foot game. Knock down free throws and you're in good shape. However, you got to take care of the ball. And step number 1 is you got to get the ball in bounds. Kansas State's going to be switching every screen they possibly can. They're going to have their hands extended. They're going to try to not let the home run ball occur down the floor for an easy deuce or dunk, but they're certainly going to try to get deflection on the ball, if not a steal, and they're going to have to foul right away.
Ryan Rollader checks back in for Kansas State. Of course, he hasn't played much, and so he can give a foul. It's also pretty long and could potentially guard the inbounder. We'll see how Kansas State lines up. As Long Beach breaks their timeout huddle, LaSalle back in. Caffey, Jones, Lamb, and Deontay North. That very small lineup again for Long Beach State. Malik Harris will again guard the inbounder in the backcourt with 18.7 to go. The shot clock is turned off. And Deontay North to throw in. He can run the baseline, does so, gets it over to Branford Jones, and finally they're able to give a foul. Killed a couple of seconds. Rolder reached in with 16.4 left.
Kansas State fouls on 33.
Branford Jones only 3 of 7 on the season from the stripe.
but he had just made 2. And so you feel good about him getting back there. Long Beach State not going to put anybody on the free throw line. Kansas State has 4 players out there waiting as the Texas native Branford Jones puts up the first and gets a bounce. Front of the rim, backboard and in.
So Kansas State down 6 and potentially 7 here in a moment. They've got to think three-pointers.
Yeah.
They still have a timeout to burn, but they've got to be disciplined enough to get right into a press in case coach doesn't call it immediately after they knock one down.
The second from Jones. Good. He makes 4 in a row and a timeout for Long Beach State. 16.4 seconds left. 67-60. Long Beach State ahead of Kansas State. Kansas State out of the Big 12. They came in 2-0. This would be one of the biggest wins, not just in Dan Munson's time as the 49er head coach, but really one of the biggest wins in the program over the last couple of decades. They've defeated, of course, a couple of ranked teams since Dan has gotten here. They beat Pitt at Pitt. They defeated a ranked Xavier team at a neutral site in Hawaii a couple of years ago. But to get a team like Kansas State on your home floor, Richie, and to beat them would be absolutely tremendous for this program.
You're probably going to scare Power 6 conference teams away, being that if they win this, of the 3 Power 6 conference teams they've had, it's the second time they've won in the second in subsequent years.
Yeah, no question about that. Beat USC here last year. So Kansas State will have to go the length of the floor, trailing it by 7. As the inbound pass, and now across the timeline quickly, Thomas into the corner. Foster gets double teamed, harassed, forces up a 3, hits the side of the backboard, rebound Long Beach State, and a foul. A foul on Kansas State. 6.4 to go, and that will do it.
The crowd knows it. They know
they do, Richie. They are up on their feet here at the Walter Pyramid. The 49ers at home against Kansas State are going to come away with a huge win. And their first Division I opponent that they have defeated this season after dropping a heartbreaker at BYU and a 20-plus point decision earlier this week at Xavier. Here's Deontay North shooting free throws. The first one up. Good.
You think UCLA, Texas, and Louisville and Syracuse are getting a little nervous right now?
Especially Syracuse with the way they've played. You see them at the Garden a couple of days ago. North good again with the second. Kansas State, nothing they can do. They throw in Marcus Foster to midcourt, bounces right, Rolder in the corner for 3. No good. That will do it. Your final score, Long Beach State 69, Kansas State 60. The 49ers victorious at home against an outstanding Kansas State ball club. They go to 2-2 on the season. Meanwhile, Kansas State gets their first loss. They fall to 2-1 as the teams shake hands customarily at midcourt. What a win, Richie Schuler, for Long Beach State.
And what a game plan that Coach Munson and his staff had. The way they played the post inside, the way they completely took out the leading scorer for Kansas State inside the post, and the way they attacked offensively. The way this team has responded, this is almost an expectation. They have a culture here of winning, as you know, as the fans know, but this comes to no surprise to the team. You don't see streamers and excitement and all that. You see players walking off the floor as if they expected to win.
And as you said, and really as we talked about a little bit throughout the game, when you have teams come into your house, your floor, something that you've always wanted is to have that big team at your place and grab that energy from the crowd. You know, it's one thing to play Xavier on the road and Syracuse on the road. Those are great. But when they're in your house and you want to defend the home and you have your crowd cheering you on, the energy that they must have felt throughout the game, it had to be special.
Yeah, it's a sellout crowd. People on their feet. The only extra seats there are on the court. So people are standing up to watch this game. The atmosphere is incredible. The fans here are awesome, and I'm sure they absolutely helped the team to the victory.
All right, a final note for us before we wind down. Again, Richie just pointed out a minute ago that Long Beach State goes to UCLA next. That ball game just 2 days from now on Sunday. And you mentioned it, if the Bruins aren't shivering a little bit right now, when they see the score of this game, they might start to up at Pauley Pavilion at another redemption game. Last time the 49ers went to Pauley, they lost. So I think now some confidence for Long Beach State. They should have probably more confidence now than they've had at any point for all these kids throughout their collegiate careers.
I think they're going to play with confidence the rest of the way. But at some point, they got to put this behind them and focus on the next game.
And I'm sure that they will do that. Hey, my friend, thank you so much for giving us today's effort. I really do appreciate it. I'm sure the folks did, and we'd love to have you back for a future game, hopefully down the stretch.
Hopefully we can do that this year.
Yeah, that would be great. Certainly would be our pleasure. Thanks again to the folks at K-Beach Radio. As always, great job by Trey running the board. Really appreciate your fine effort. And again, Long Beach State gave it about as good an effort tonight as we ever could have expected. Again, your final, the 49ers 69. The Kansas State Wildcats out of the Big 12 Conference 60. The 49ers now 2-2. We're on the air Sunday, 6:30 p.m. from UCLA with the pregame show. The tip set for 7. If you can get tickets, get them now. Be at Pauley Pavilion. Root on your 49ers on the road. For Richie Schuler, I am Rob Brender. The 49ers over the Wildcats on a Friday night in Long Beach. Good night, everybody.